near New York and Sherman. So far this year, 12 kids have been killed as a result of shootings at Indy. Police aren't sure how the body wound up there. Harrison Silcox reports on a man found in a dumpster.
Someone called Grant County Dispatch Saturday evening about a person in a large trash bin in a senior living community in Sweetser, which is about an hour and a half from Indianapolis. Timothy Bragg was ID'd as the man inside that trash bin, and a preliminary autopsy says he died from natural causes. Police are still looking into what happened and how he got there. If you have any info, give the Grant County Sheriff's Office a call. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
3 officers are out of a job and 2 others are benched in Greenwood, all of them accused of violating several Greenwood PD policies. They revolve around accusations that they sent sexually suggestive, harassing, and inappropriate messages through police department computers. Samuel Bowen and Elijah Allen are the 2 officers who are suspended. 3 others have resigned. Some fans react to the contract situation revolving around Colts running back Jonathan Taylor.
They can give Andrew Luck $25 million to just walk away. Why not take care of one of your best players on the team?
Well, the Colts have given permission for Taylor to seek a trade to another team. In like manner, the Colts are also telling teams that Taylor is available on the trading block. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Yeah, Kurt, now we have a crash on westbound 70 coming towards downtown on the east side. It's at Rural Keystone and in the middle of the interstate. Center lane out of 5 blocked right now. Traffic stop and go back to Arlington Avenue. Also southbound 65 at 38th Guy, and that's a crash. Got into the guardrail pretty hard. Multiple vehicles over on the shoulder. No delay at the moment. Traffic sponsored by America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. Look sharp, shop smart. Visit America's Best for a comprehensive eye exam plus 2 pairs of glasses starting at just $79.95. Book an exam at americasbest.com. That's americasbest.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and the kids are about to go back to school and get reintroduced to the germ pool. Now that means sniffles and sneezes, and when you combine that with all the carpet messes from a summer of fun, it's time to call Zero Res. Here's the good news. It's quick and easy scheduling, and you can get online in seconds or call them on the phone. Average cleaning time is 2 to 3 hours, and the floors dry quickly because they use the patented ZR water that cleans with no soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals. Now that's a big win. Zero Res gets all the yuck out, even the non-living allergens and irritants for a lasting summer clean. Zero Res techs are the best in the industry, trained in extraction techniques that just work to get your things really, really clean. Now mention WIBC and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $139, plus you'll get a free hallway and $50 off all air duct cleaning too. That's right, air duct cleaning, and it'll help you improve the air quality in your home and help reduce your energy costs and just breathe easier. Call 388-5141 or schedule your appointment online at zeroresindy.com.
The Hoosier Hardwood Festival, August 25th through 27th at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Lebanon. Lumberjacks, chainsaw carving artists, family fun, and more. HoosierHardwoodFestival.com.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Heat advisory in effect today. Sunny and hot, a high of 90. Feels like temperatures close to 100. Clear, quiet, and really muggy overnight. A low down to 72. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
75 and mostly cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, August 22nd. It is 6 minutes after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. His name is Rob Kendall. You can find him on Twitter, Rob M. Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. You can find me there, Casey Daniels 317. And right now, if you'd like to see how high Rob's hair can get, check him out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar.
Yeah, it's hard to do with these headphones. Hang on here just a second.
What are you doing? You're like fluffing up your hair. Okay, very good. You've got the Doc Brown look going today, for sure.
Well, one of the things is that, when I was younger, Casey, I had an incredible, and we've laid this out in the We Grow Hair Indie ads, I had an incredible head of hair.
Yeah.
It was, women loved me and men wanted to be me.
Okay.
And then obviously, as we've laid out in the We Grow Hair Indie ads,
it started to deteriorate.
It's like any great civilization, maybe some poor choices along the way, some poor lifestyle choices caused it to start falling out. And We Grow Hair Indie has restored much of it. I mean, you're never absolutely going to 100% go back to, hey, when I was 21 years old. I also didn't want that because that, to me, would have been weird to look the way you looked when you were 21 at 39. But, of course, they did a phenomenal job putting this, just cavalcade of disaster back together, and now you can see it in real time over at the YouTube feed.
And you're feeling the need to fluff it up?
Speaking of, I want to give the audience something to look at.
Okay. Hey, let's talk about what's going on with President Biden.
Speaking of cavalcade of disaster.
Yeah, right? He went to Lahaina yesterday, and during the speech, he was telling the audience that he could relate to them because his house caught fire back in 2004.
And this is funny is not the right word because obviously there's nothing funny about any of this. But yesterday, Casey and I were after we had Tony Kennett on the show because Tony Kennett is on the ground in Maui. Casey and I were talking about Biden seems like the worst person you could possibly send as a president into an event like this. And we had long said, how could you not have sent him to East Palestine, Ohio?
200 days now, plus.
And we got our answer yesterday because Casey said, in a very flippant way, because Biden's an idiot and a moron, you said he'll probably say something stupid like about the time his kitchen caught on fire. And I'll be darned, Casey.
That's exactly what he did.
That's what he said.
Yeah. The difference is that when his kitchen caught fire, it was a small fire. It was contained and under control in 20 minutes, and there was no loss of life.
Yeah, so Biden's house apparently was legitimately hit by lightning. Like, that really happened. But nothing else that he tries to describe is remotely relatable to the people. I mean, you've got people who have lost their homes, their businesses, everything around them has crumbled. I mean, Tony Kennett laid it out yesterday for us. If you got out alive, which there could be, they still don't know. I mean, there's estimates that it's anywhere between 200 and 1,000 people that are dead. They still don't know. I mean, it is just a colossal disaster. And this guy goes out in front of the people of this island, and as he always does, has to make it about himself. And he uses the most, I tweeted this out yesterday at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is 10,000 on the offensive scale. And it is probably, and this is really saying something for Joe Biden, the most offensive thing he's ever said.
Yeah. I want to point something out that he did say while he was there. So let's listen to it.
I don't want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. Years ago, now 15 years ago, I was in Washington doing Meet the Press. It was a sunny Sunday, and lightning struck at home on a little lake that's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond, and hit a wire and came up underneath our home into the heating ducts, the air conditioning duct. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat. But all kidding aside, I watched the firefighters, the way they responded. There's no expression. I grew up right across the street from a fire hall in Claymont, Delaware.
I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette. He's comparing losing his sports car to people losing family members.
And he didn't almost lose his wife. The thing was put out in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
His wife was not in any danger, according to all accounts of people who were there, who wrote about it at the time. Multiple publications covered the thing, certainly not radical right-wing places that are interested in debunking Joe Biden. I mean, it is. I now understand why they refused to send him to East Palestine, Ohio. I now get it.
Because he's trying to relate, but completely, totally, wholly missing the mark.
He's not trying to relate, Casey. He's a narcissistic ass who only cares about himself and has to make everything about himself. And that's his default position, is to talk about how, hey, you people might think you have it bad, but you have no idea how bad I have it. He was a sitting United States senator who was motorcaded to a national television show, and because he lives in a very upscale area, which no doubt has very fine, as a U.S. Senator, public safety amenities. He was inconvenienced for a very short period of time, and the worst thing that happened to him was his Corvette was almost damaged. And he's trying to equate. Tony Kennett laid out yesterday, they are digging people out of rubble right now.
They're digging through ash and metal, trying to identify DNA. People have missing family members. They don't know if they're perished, if they're missing, they're not communicating. And he's saying he almost lost his 67 Corvette.
Look, and I say this as someone who essentially lost a building in a natural disaster. So I have some relatability now. When hurricanes hit where my place of business was, there was not immense loss of life. But that might be a area where you could say I have some relatability to you people in the sense of the building had to be gutted, et cetera, whatever. But even that is not the same. When you are digging people's bodies out of rubble, Casey, nothing is the same as that unless you have lost someone in a natural disaster. Nothing is the same. Because you know what? Buildings, even if they are destroyed, those can be replaced. This guy he just always seems
out of touch.
Can't. I was going to say meet the moment. He never seems to meet the moment, but I don't even want that. I just want the guy not to be a horrific human being who only cares about himself.
Yeah. The New York Post is even describing the fire at his place as an insignificant fire. Insignificant compared to the largest and deadliest wildfire in this country. He said that he's going to do everything possible to help with the recovery. Yeah,
I'm sure he is. All right, let's catch our breath for a moment. We got a bunch of Trump stuff when we come back. 73% of Republicans say Trump should do this debate. Yeah. Ron DeSantis is sounding off on Trump not doing the debate, and we've got Bond set for Donald Trump.
Yeah, we'll get to it coming up from 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Hammer and Nigel.
On the campaign trail, Ron DeSantis went to a couple different places.
I'm a very hardcore Trump supporter. This is the most important vote that we're going to have.
Who would be better at legislating, beating Joe Biden,
restoring this country to what the founding fathers envisioned?
Your heart against your mind. Trump against DeSantis. Who you got?
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Watch parties aren't what they used to be.
Welcome to today's matinee.
Ever since we got Xfinity, my little sister and her friends can easily stream all their favorite stuff.
We'll start with 2 episodes of Top Chef, then Chopped.
When I was a kid, we'd worry about buffering. Now they just worry about what's on the charcuterie board.
Enjoy these fine meats and cheeses.
These are just cut up hot dogs and spray cheese.
Indeed.
The best way to stream your favorites is on the Xfinity 10G network. Introducing the best value in live TV and streaming on the best network with Xfinity Internet and Now TV. Now through August 28th, get internet on the Xfinity 10G network for $30 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, add Now TV with Peacock Premium, a $5.99 a month value included at no extra cost for just $20 a month. Switch today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Now TV requires Xfinity Internet. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Stream Top Chef on Peacock.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749 or biglou.com.
With mortgage rates as high as they are, you might be inclined to improve your current space rather than buy, and Galaxy Concrete Coatings can help, especially with your garage, your driveway, your pool deck, your porch, your patio, whatever it is. They'll take that dark, gray, cracked, dirty concrete and make it fantastic. They'll lay down a coating that's 4 times stronger than epoxy. It dries fast, has a really strong hold, the color won't fade, and it's super easy to clean. Call them today in Fishers, 317-751-9070. That's Galaxy Concrete Coating, 317-751-9070. Find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Hey Hoosiers, it's your Congressman Greg Pence. Let's get straight to the point. Joe Biden's policies are not working for the average Hoosier. Inflation is absolutely still out of control. I'm putting Hoosier values first. Promoting energy independence, opposing woke policies, and fighting for our families is my focus. To learn more about my efforts, go to pence.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Hey, you're up next.
Ugh, my throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Let us send you your home's value today. Go to HoosierHomeValues2023.com. From Crossroads Collective, title sponsor of the First Day, Sundays 11 to 1.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a criminal, that's who he is. A vigilante, a public menace.
And Casey Daniels.
Wow, she's an angel.
On 93 WIBC.
It's another tequila. He keeps texting me. He keeps emailing me. I'm talking about Ron DeSantis. Yeah. Boy, does Ron DeSantis want my vote and my money.
Did you
apparently.
win? Did you win?
No, I did not win the trip to the debate.
Did they announce who did win?
I haven't seen it. But he did send out this note that said Governor Ron DeSantis is also the first choice, second choice, and being actively considered by 61% of likely caucus goers. That is in line with Donald Trump's 63% footprint in the state. And of course, Donald Trump is citing this new CBS poll where he has, quote, legendary numbers at 62%, 46 points above Ron DeSantis.
You wanted to say DeSanctimonious, didn't you? You almost did it, didn't you?
Did.
I saw
the branding is working.
Yes.
But that is why Donald Trump is saying that he's not going to be going to the debates because he has such a commanding lead. However, many GOP voters want him to go to the debate. In fact, 73%.
Yeah, so CBS YouGov did a poll of GOP primary voters, and 73% said Trump should do the debate in some capacity. I think they had, various ways that they worded this, and it will be interesting to see what, if any, fallout there is from him not doing this, because he should go if you're a person who is actually interested in transparency and accountability to the public at large, and whether you're the biggest Trump fan or the least biggest Trump fan, you should want your candidate, your preferred candidate, to lay out his vision for the country. And look, Biden's not going to give him a free pass. I mean, assuming Biden can find the stage next fall. So why not get yourself sharpened up here? I mean, if you can take the arrows from Christie and, whoever else is gunning for him, DeSantis, et cetera, then you're going to be much better off when Biden. Look, I thought one of the reasons Trump was a disaster in those debates with Biden in 2020. And I don't know if it was because he had the serious COVID issue or what, but that first debate, he behaved like a lunatic. I was listening at the time to the debate on the radio on WIBC. I was actually coming back from the western part of the state, and I was listening on the radio. So I had no visual, just the audio. And I was like in my car going, what? This is horrific. I mean, he was talking over the moderator. He was talking over Biden. He wasn't letting anybody answer questions. And I think the biggest difference between 2016, where I thought he did a really good job against Hillary, was he went through all those debates with Rubio and Ted Cruz and Rand Paul and Jeb. And I thought that made him a much better debater against Hillary. I thought he won those debates against Hillary, and he didn't have any sort of preparation in terms of somebody to spar with in the lead up to Biden.
You think that it'll be a more difficult debate, Trump versus Biden, than Trump versus DeSantis or Ramaswamy or Scott?
No. I think they will be better debaters, which will make it easier. It's like doing anything else. It's like
more practice.
Weightlifting. If you're trained, if you're lifting, 40-pound barbells, and then somebody's like, hey, lift this 20-pound barbell. Well, it's a lot easier because you're used to lifting the 40s. And let's face it, whoever the Democrat nominee for president is, whether it's Biden or Gavin Newsom or Kamala or whoever, the media is going to totally be in the tank. Whoever the moderator is going to be unfriendly. So get used to it. Just get out there and show them what you got.
Just 9% of the voters say that they would like Trump's opponents to actually put an emphasis on making the case against Donald Trump. So what people want to hear from the other people in the debate is what they're going to do, not what Donald Trump is doing.
So Ron DeSantis was asked about Trump not showing up to the debate stage, and he said this.
Well, what do you think about the fact that the former president is not going to be on the debate stage next to you, and you won't get a chance to put this directly to him?
Everybody should debate. Everybody has a responsibility to earn people's votes. Nobody is entitled to anything in this world, less of all the Republican nomination for president. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be making the case. And this is really a great opportunity because I don't think very many people over the summer have been following it that closely. I think this is going to be the first time where candidates are going to be able to speak unfiltered to a large number of Americans. And so I'm going to make the case that under Joe Biden, this country is in decline. We need to send Biden back to his basement in Delaware and reverse the country's decline. And I'm the guy that can do it. I've proven it in the state of Florida, and I won't let people down as the next president.
I think without Trump being there, these other candidates are going to have an opportunity to speak and get their point across.
Nobody's going to watch, though, Casey.
I'm going to watch.
What?
I'll be there.
Casey, we went through this yesterday.
I know.
You are not the person that these people need to be watching because, look, you're super into it. You're a member of the media. You could soon be a part of an award-winning radio program. Did you know we got nominated for a major award?
I saw that.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
And so as such, you're invested in it.
Yeah.
They need the average person to watch. And when King Kong is not on the stage, I just think the average person is like, well, these are just a bunch of boring politicians.
Yeah.
And why would I waste 2 hours out of my day?
So Donald Trump said that he is going to turn himself in on Thursday in Fulton County, Georgia, after he was indicted.
Brilliant.
The night after the debates.
Brilliant. So
Yeah.
so he's going to go, and this is why Trump is just heads and tails. I mean, it's what is all saying? He's playing chess and they're playing checkers. Donald Trump is a marketing genius. You say whatever you want about the guy and his politics or whatever. The guy is one of the most brilliant marketers and provocateurs and showmen who ever lived. So think about what he's going to do.
He's going to go on with Tucker Wednesday.
While the debate is on.
Uh-huh.
And then the very next morning, he will be there bright and early to get his mug shot and post his bond so that nobody is going to be talking about. So if somebody has a moment, let's say it's DeSantis or it's Tim Scott or whoever.
That soundbite's going to be drowned out by Trump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I mean, what I say this is somebody who thinks he totally should debate. He should totally be there. Transparency. It makes me think less of him because he's not going to do it. But I'm also not going to lie to our audience and go, he doesn't know exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He said, can you believe it? I'm going to Atlanta, Georgia on Thursday to be arrested by a radical left district attorney, Fannie Willis, $200,000 bond.
What you talking about? Willis has given him a $200,000 bond.
Yeah, $200,000. Could you do that? Could you swing that bond?
Remember in you've seen the movie Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah.
Remember in Dumb and Dumber where they go to that dinner and they're all dressed up and the guy stops them and goes, "I'm sorry, gentlemen, this is a $500 a plate dinner, and he starts reeling off the just wad of money because it's not theirs, and he goes, "Oh, okay, put us down for 4 in case we want seconds." Do you think that's how Trump is when they say your bond
$200,000?
Yes. Let me get that. Will you take it in 20s?
Yeah, right. All right, we've got Micah Beckwith who's going to join us next with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Casey, I have a life-altering question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Take all the time necessary. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
I said yes.
What's 12 times 3?
I'm not ready. No, I'm kidding. It's 36.
You are a mathematician. Hey, how would you like to get a 36% bonus when you invest your money?
Sounds good. Yes, please. More.
So if you invest $100,000, you get a $36,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $72,000 bonus.
It's Kendall and Casey. Not only can you get a 36% bonus, you also get a competitive return, an average of 7% a year for the past 10 years. Plus, your money's backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery. He's your retirement guy here in Indy. 317-932-9912.
This 36% bonus, well, it won't last long. So call 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your independent, locally owned American Standard hometown dealer in Johnson County, Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. Are you tired of the free air conditioner or furnace sketchy claims and want an honest quote with honest pricing from people who live and work in your community? Call Marshall Mechanical. Just go to callthemarshallnow.com to schedule an appointment. Financing options are available. Subject to credit approval. Call for details. Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in Johnson County.
Does your child need a school that understands their learning style and keeps them engaged in the learning process? Indiana Gateway Digital Academy is an online public school offering a supportive learning environment, empowering students through a whole child approach with passionate teachers focused on student well-being and positive academic outcomes. Indiana Gateway Digital Academy is a tuition-free school now enrolling grades K through 12. Learn more at k12.com/INGDA. Indiana Gateway Digital Academy, committed to the success of every student.
The Dell Technologies Back to School event is on, with deals on top tech for class, hobbies, and more. Now, when you buy, you support a cause. With every eligible purchase, Dell will donate to UNICEF in support of GIGA, a UNICEF ITU global initiative to connect schools across the globe to the internet. Accidental damage protection included. Get rare deals on select laptops and desktops powered by the latest Intel Core processors. Save now at Dell.com/deals. UNICEF does not endorse any company, brand, product, or service.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Where they stand before the debate. It's partly cloudy and excessive heat warning in effect. It's 76 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Several GOP candidates for president will be debating for the first time this week.
These 8 Republicans, they're set to take the stage. Noticeably missing from the lineup is former President Donald Trump, who is opting to sit the debate out, claiming voters already know who he is. Over in Iowa, a new poll still has former President Donald Trump holding a wide lead over DeSantis with less than 5 months until the Iowa caucuses. Tim Scott climbing to third place over Nikki Haley, holding a 3% lead over the former governor of South Carolina.
Fox's Jackie Ibanez. President Biden says the people of Maui will have everything they need to recover from disastrous wildfires while touring the town of Lahaina Monday. He met with families of victims and thanked first responders. 850 people are still missing as search and rescue efforts continue, and 114 people have been confirmed dead. And now the stock report at the opening bell. The Dow was up 22 points to 34,546. The Nasdaq up 105 to 15,091. And the S&P 500 is up 17 to 4,430. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Stop right now and ask yourself, what is most important to you? Hey, this is Casey Weed at Howard Bailey Financial, the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. We believe in developing retirement plans driven by what is most important to you, your purpose. Then we can build what we call your financial life plan, made up of 4 main pillars: liquidity for emergencies, income to last a lifetime, flexibility to adapt, estate planning to maximize your legacy, and finally, tax planning to maximize what you can spend and pass on. To learn more about saving on your taxes, get your free digital tax guide. Just call or text TAX42 to 866-482-9559. That's TAX42 to 866-482-9559.
Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop.
Sarah, you don't look so good. Are you okay?
To be honest, I did it again last night. I promised myself it would be just 1 glass of wine, and I drank the whole bottle.
You need to get the drinking under control, Sarah. Trust me, I know. Wine o'clock used to be my favorite time of day, but I found that 1 glass always turned into more and realized I needed help. I did some research and found naltrexone.
Naltrexone?
It's an FDA-approved medication that reduces cravings and pleasure from drinking, making it easier to drink less or quit alcohol altogether. I started seeing results almost immediately.
How'd you get started with naltrexone?
It's easy with Or Health. Just send them a text and get a secure link to their private online assessment. One of their licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment, and if medication is right for you, prescribe it directly online. They even deliver your prescription right to your front door. No doctor's office visits required.
Thanks, Anne. I'm texting now.
You really can stop drinking or just drink less. Text PROMISE to 323232 to get started today. Text the word PROMISE to 323232. Text PROMISE to 323232.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
I've done my best to live the right way. I get up every morning and go to work each day.
93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Let's go to the drivehubler.com hotline. He is the last great hope for not only humanity, but also the state of Indiana. Pastor Micah Beckwith.
No pressure.
Joins us now. No pressure, Micah.
What's up, guys? How you doing this morning?
Oh, we're doing just fine. Hey, Kyle Hupfer called it quits, just like we said he was going to a month ago. And immediately, insert stooge number 2. Holcomb says Hupfer out and Hathaway, I want her in. These people just never change in the Indiana Republican Party. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it would be sort of the same direction. I think what a lot of, especially the grassroots conservatives of Indiana are saying, they're saying, hey, no, we want to go back to that faith and family principled party. I mean, we believe that faith and family are the foundations of our whole society. You can't build a strong economic house. You have a morally declining society. And I think, unfortunately, from Kyle Hupfer and from Eric Holcomb's leadership, they've forgotten all about the faith and family side. And you know, I've heard, I don't know them personally, so I don't want to speak out of turn here. But
no, go ahead. Speak. Go ahead. No, you'll be fine. Say whatever you want.
No, I mean, but here's what I have heard, that they're just not very concerned with faith and family values. It's a lot more like jobs, economics. But, and I'm all for creating jobs in a strong economy, but you can't have a strong economy when the moral fabric of your culture is decaying right out from underneath you. And I think that's the problem with I think Kyle Hupfer and Eric Holcomb would have been phenomenal leaders had they just put the proper emphasis on faith and family values, and they just didn't. So I think if, you know, the nomination of Anne Hathaway, I think is the same. I think she would be very much in that alignment with Kyle, where it's like we don't really want to focus on the social issues. We just want to do all the jobs and economic stuff.
Well, and again, okay, so it's hopping here, but real quick, I would be fine with the jobs if it actually meant lower taxes. The problem is all this jobs and economic development, it just ends up with Holcomb and Hupfer and the current Republican legislature, more government, bigger government expense. They go out of their way to not pass the savings on to the people.
Well, I think that's probably the moving further away from faith. Right. If you have a strong core conviction in your faith and you understand the Judeo-Christian ethic, you recognize how important it is to get the government off of the backs of people and to give the people the freedom to make their own decisions and their own choices. And again, like, and I'm not saying that they don't know that, but I think when it's not in your core convictions, it's very easy to get pulled into this, well, the government can do it for you. Well, the government's the answer. Well, the government is our savior. Well, the government is our God. And it just moves down to that progression. And so if you don't constantly have that faith conviction to go back and say, whoa, we're created with inalienable rights by a creator who calls us to worship him and no one else. Government is not our God. Government is not our provider. Government is not our answer. It is our God has given us the freedom to be able to go out and conquer on our own. We just got to get the government out of the way, and then you'll see great things happen all across our communities and our state. And so, again, when you lose the faith principles and those core convictions of faith and family values, that's when big government starts rearing its ugly head. And so that's why it's so important. You need people of faith to carry the mantle when they're stewarding this type of power.
Micah, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Oh, that's the wrong word to use there, Casey.
I know, advocate. Okay, so we're talking about putting the focus on family, but if we don't have economic stability within the family, that puts a lot of undue pressure on the family, which does not lead to success.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and again, it's a walk and chew gum at the same time kind of concept. Yes, we need to focus on how can we incentivize good behavior economically for families. I'll give you an example. Pastor Nathan at Life Church, he's when he came to Indianapolis, him and his wife were very, living very, very frugally on one income. He was a youth pastor at our Eagle Creek campus at the time, and this was probably 15, 20 years ago now. And they got disincentivized for having a child within the marriage covenant. So they were married, they had a child, they couldn't barely afford ends meet, and they went for government assistance. And they said, well, because you're married, you don't qualify. Had they not been married, and Nathan not really being in the life of his wife and his son, she would have been able to get a lot more government assistance for living this life outside of wedlock. And so it's programs like that they disincentivize good behavior. And we need to start incentivizing good behavior. And again, it all comes back to when you don't understand how God designed everything to operate, you very quickly get off the course and you think that government becomes the answer. And then you create these incentive programs that actually incentivize people down paths of bad behavior. And so I think it's walk and chew gum at the same time. I think you can help those who need help. Not every family's perfect. Not every family is everything is the world's falling apart, and I get that. But we have to make sure that we're incentivizing good behavior and not de-incentivizing it.
So smart, Micah Beckwith. Okay, here's a question for you. Why do we have an entire generation that is dependent on the government? It seems like it in many cases.
When you lose the faith perspective, when you lose what God has called you to do, and God is saying, hey, look to me for your answers, look to me for your values, where are they going to turn? They're going to turn to government. They're going to turn to making sure like someone's going to provide for me, and so they look to government to be their God, and that's where things go very, very badly, very, very quickly.
Micah Beck with our guest. All right, big news yesterday. The Supreme Court told the ACLU to kick rocks on their trying to get the abortion restrictions overturned in Indiana. It is now ready to become law. Very rare we say anything good about government in Indiana, but in this case, I think the House and Senate did a pretty good job on this abortion bill. I'm glad it's law. What say you?
Yeah, no, I'm glad it's law too. I think it was a hard-fought battle. It was the first abortion ban in the in the country after Roe was overturned. We had the mantle, the eyes of the nation were turned towards Indiana, and I think we did a good job. I don't think it was I think it could have been a little stronger personally, but hey, listen, it was a hard-fought battle, and I know the left. Kamala Harris flew out to Indianapolis to fight against this, or flew out from D.C. to fight against this, so they had all the big guns out working against what our legislature was trying to do. So, but over the course of this last year, fighting this in the courts, and we finally saw justice prevail, and we have to recognize that this is about protecting life, and the Declaration of Independence gives us the basis for what government's supposed to do. It's supposed to protect our life, our liberty, and our ability to pursue happiness. And this is exactly what needs to be done, not just in Indiana, but across the entire nation. So life is pinnacle, and we've got to protect it.
Real quick, I saw Indy Star about had an aneurysm the other day because there's this big article that came out that Indy Star very upset. You were on the Hamilton East Public Library Board, and they were very upset that two of your members had a legal appeared in public together legally. They even asked the public access counselor, and he's kind of like, yeah, they can totally do that. Why are you calling me? It is amazing how obsessed people are about library books and where they are in the library now.
Well, I think we've exposed their agenda. I think we've seen that they have been trying to hypersexualize children, and they're pushing for this sexual content to fall into their hands. And it's amazing. Like even city councilors in Fishers, like Jocelyn Varr, she's a Democrat on the Fishers Council. She hates what we're doing. And I say to her, I said, Jocelyn, all we're trying to do is make sure explicit and harmful content doesn't fall into the hands of kids. We're just moving any of that stuff over to the adult section. We're not even taking it out of the library. We're just saying put it in the adult section so a 10-year-old doesn't pick it up unsuspecting what it is and then starts flipping through the pages, because guess what? You can't unsee some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And they hate it. They hate it. They hate it. They want to put pornographic material in the hands of children. That's just the end of story. And so we've come in, we've put a policy in place that says, hey, sexually explicit stuff that meets the standard, we're not going to let it stay in the teens or the kids section. We're going to move it to the adult section. And yeah, to your point, I think it's sort of exposed their whole agenda.
Real quick, though, I mean, for those of you who don't know, Indy Star wrote I mean, it was like, imagine if they had put this much effort into figuring out where Hogsett was during the riots. It's an expose, like two of these members of the board.
Having coffee.
Yeah, in public. And they write, I mean, it was, they did, I can't imagine the amount of time and effort that went into this story. And they call the public access counselor who's in charge of this stuff, and he goes, yeah, there's more than 3 members on the board. They can totally meet in public. That's 100% not a quorum. They're fine. It was like, you people wasted all that time and resource, and at the end it's like, oh yeah, those people were abiding by the law. It is. I mean, there is a weird obsession going on over you guys at the Hamilton East Public Library.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to destroy. They're trying to do what the left does. They try to kill, steal, and destroy. I mean, that's their motto, right? And they are anything that they can get their hands on. They're gonna break it. They're gonna destroy it. They're gonna ruin it. And I think to that point, they didn't do anything wrong. Like the 2 people from the board getting together when you have a 7-person board is totally legal. The only thing that open door laws dictate is that when you have 4 people, the majority of the board together, you can't do that. So we obviously, boards and members of councils and boards, they communicate all the time. I mean, whether you're on a county council, city council, library board, in a legislature, wherever you're at, you're communicating with your fellow, your peers and your counterparts all the time in some way, shape, or form. You just can't do it with a quorum. And so, but what they were doing was fine. And to your point, the Indy Star, and this is what the Indy Star does, they drum up some nonsense to get the left riled up so that then the left will come out and start screaming at bloody murder at everyone they can, and it will scare people into submission. And it works. I mean, I hate to say it, Rob and Casey, but it works. You have weak-kneed leaders within our society and culture, and when some, blue-haired Karen comes out and starts screaming at them, they back down and they say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. We'll be nice to you if you just be nice to us. But what we have to remember is you cannot pet a demon. Like, the demonic will not go away. And these people, I'm telling you, that are pushing this pedophilia into our culture are being influenced by the demonic.
Yeah, I never understood that, Beckwith. When people used to come scream at me all the time, I'd just laugh at them so they'd scream at me more. I don't understand why people are so afraid to be screamed at.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm the same way. It's like I love it because I know I'm doing something right. I'm over the target. Like, if they weren't screaming at me, I'd be kind of concerned. I'd be like, I'm not doing something I should be doing, right? So, but that's not how most people are wired, unfortunately.
Well, from now on, anytime you go out and do anything, I want you to notify everyone. Put it on public notice, okay?
That's right. Hey, I'm going to go grab an energy drink at the gas station here after this, just so everybody knows.
All right, Beckwith, you're the best. Thank you for all you do, and keep up the great work.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the latest Iowa polling doesn't mean what it means. It's kind of weird. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC. Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder or hip or back? Don't let anyone tell you that steroids and surgery are your only option. Listen to me. Call QC Kinetics right now. Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all natural advanced regenerative medicine. They're helping people every day right here in Indy and around the country with these amazing natural treatments that restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It can be like turning back the clock. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body to stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they're supposed to. Got pain due to arthritis or injury? Call QC Kinetics today. The consultation is free. QC Kinetics is in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. Call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-593-4411. 800-593-4411. 800-593-4411.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
9:49. Good morning. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So Oliver Anthony's song, Rich Men North of Richmond, it has debuted on Billboard's Hot 100 song chart at number 1. And he's the first artist to launch at the top spot in the chart's history.
No, there is no better example of where millions of people are in this country today than this guy and his song. So this is, I mean, if you've been hiding under a rock, this guy we're talking about, he is some dude in the hills of Virginia, had, by my understanding, some serious issues with various vices, looks the part of mountain man straight out of Central Casting, recorded several songs on his cellular telephone, was an amateur musician, finally took a stab at, I don't know, either through donations or he found the money or whatever to record a video professionally for the first time ever. And it is a song about how Americans, regular Americans, are getting screwed on a daily basis by politicians in Washington, D.C., done deliberately by politicians in Washington, D.C., who are interested in keeping you down at the expense of, or in order to lift up their donor lobbyist crony buddies, and it is the number one song in the country right now. That some obscure guy. I mean, if you made a movie about this, people would go, "No way!" And this dude is number one because people are sick of the politicians in this country.
Yeah, it just is a testament to the hopelessness and the frustration that everybody is experiencing right now, and it's really resonating with this song. The song in of itself, it's not that special of a song, really. I mean, the guitar playing is average, his singing is okay, but it's the lyrics, which is really interesting. People are really connecting to the lyrics.
See, you're proving my point here that I have made for years on this radio station, which is that lyrics are way more important than the music itself.
And
what? Nothing from Kev? the resident musician.
Say that again.
Totally not even paying attention to our show. Sorry, I was thinking if I won the lotto last night.
Yeah, I'm way more into the rhythm than the lyrics.
See, and this is
personally.
why you're still floundering in many ways, because this guy right here is proving that the lyrics are way more important than the music itself.
Which is atypical, because normally someone with extensive experience in the music industry, it is women who pay attention to the lyrics, and men usually pay attention to the rhythm or the beat of the song. But in this case, with this Oliver Anthony, men are really gravitating towards the lyrics. Women are as well. But I think that's what is propelling it to the top spot, is because both men and women are connecting with this song.
We got to get to this Queen thing, but I'm going to call bullcrap on what you just said.
You think so?
There are countless number of male, very hyper successful recording artists who are lyrically focused, who their target audience is dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Springsteen, Warren Zevon, etc. I mean, there's a laundry list. I think that hurts me, what you just said.
I think it just...
To be totally dismissive.
You're sensitive. You're more sensitive than most, Rob.
Well, you know me. I mean, I have said this for years, and I own it. Look, I am sentimental, nostalgic about a bowel movement, if need be. I mean, so I'm not the average person, but I do think there's a lot of men do enjoy lyrically challenging songs.
I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying typically it is women who pay more attention to the lyrics.
Hey, let me ask you this. Do men and women consume poetry?
Sure.
I don't think so. I don't think poetry is very
do.
popular, and that's just my point. Is that without the music itself, you're not gonna find the lyrics to be meaningful.
Well, and that goes back to what I said, Kevin, that it's women who pay attention to the lyrics, and it's the beat and the music that drives the men.
We now understand why I'm so beloved by women. Because I'm able to tap into the softer, sentimental side.
Yeah, your sensibilities. So Oliver Anthony said that it's been a really difficult time for him to browse through all of the 50,000 plus messages that he's getting now.
Good on him.
And, you know, he's getting all of this attention. He's been offered millions of dollars. And he says that he doesn't want 6 tour buses and 15 tractor trailers and a jet.
I want it all, Casey. Give it to me.
Not this guy. He doesn't want to play stadium shows, although his crowds are growing exponentially.
If I get offered millions of dollars, you people are done.
He says he doesn't want to be in the spotlight. Unlike Rob Kendall.
They always give it to somebody who doesn't want it.
Hey, you know who deserves the spotlight is Heavyweight.
Our man.
Trucker John.
Did you see hundreds of people went and so if you missed yesterday, Trucker John, maybe we'll play it again later in the show. We have a listener who is Trucker John is what we have named him. His day job is he is a trucker. His night job / hobby is he's a rapper. He called and told us this. We called bull and said, yeah, right, sure, you're a rapper, right? Like Vivek Ramaswamy is a rapper. And he said, no, I'm going to record you a song about terrible government by the Indiana Republican Party, and I'm going to do it as a rap. And he sent it over to us yesterday. And in addition, obviously, the thousands of people who heard it on this radio station, his YouTube channel, what is it? What is the name of the YouTube?
I think it was Nebula
Entertainment. Yes, thank you. Nebula Entertainment is his YouTube channel. He got hundreds of hits on this yesterday. Obviously, once again, clearly showing the immense power of this radio show. Yeah. Hopefully soon to be award-winning radio show. And good job on Trucker John. Maybe we'll play that again during our voicemail segment because people loved that song yesterday.
I think it should be the new intro for the show.
You think so?
Probably should.
Maybe.
Oh, we didn't even get to Queen.
No, we didn't get to Queen. Fat Bottom Girls becoming the latest victim to cancel culture. It's being dropped from their new greatest hits collection, which is targeted for younger listeners.
Wait, they're saying women are going to be offended if they're told, just hearing the words Fat Bottom Girls?
Fat Bottom Girls is offensive, so it's not on the greatest hits collection anymore. Fat Bottom Girls, they make the rockin' world go round.
That's good stuff.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Watch parties aren't what they used to be.
Welcome to today's matinee.
Ever since we got Xfinity, my little sister and her friends can easily stream all their favorite stuff.
We'll start with 2 episodes of Top Chef, then Chopped.
When I was a kid, we'd worry about buffering. Now they just worry about what's on the charcuterie board.
Enjoy these fine meats and cheeses.
These are just cut up hot dogs and spray cheese.
Indeed.
The best way to stream your favorites is on the Xfinity 10G network. Introducing the best value in live TV and streaming on the best network with Xfinity Internet and Now TV. Now through August 28th, get internet on the Xfinity 10G network for $30 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, add Now TV with Peacock Premium, a $5.99 a month value included at no extra cost for just $20 a month. Switch today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Now TV requires Xfinity Internet. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Stream Top Chef on Peacock.
If there's anything better than getting a few of your favorite things from McDonald's, it's getting a few of your favorite things from McDonald's for less in the McDonald's app. Delicious. Order in the McDonald's app today. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
When the Colts score, so do you. Buy 1 Big Mac and get another on us when the Colts make a field goal. Only in the McDonald's app. Offer valid day after Colts game at participating McDonald's. Valid once per day. Must opt into rewards.
The best way to stop Joe Biden's agenda is to opt out of his inflation game by diversifying your savings into gold. I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and this is why I recommend a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. So text SHELTER to 989898 right now.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your independent, locally owned American Standard hometown dealer in Johnson County, Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. Are you tired of the free air conditioner or furnace sketchy claims and want an honest quote with honest pricing from people who live and work in your community? Call Marshall Mechanical. Just go to callthemarshallnow.com to schedule an appointment. Financing options are available, subject to credit approval. Call for details. Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in Johnson County.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how hot you can expect it to get this week. Plus, Ryan Hedrick reports on a shakeup with Greenwood Police. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios on 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
1 down, 18 to go. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Former President Trump says he plans to turn himself in on Thursday in Georgia. The first co-defendant, though, in his election conspiracy case in Georgia to surrender at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta is Scott Hall, associated with alleged voting machine tampering in Coffee County, Georgia. He turned himself in this morning. The deadline is Friday noon. Trump will not be at the first Republican debate tomorrow in Milwaukee, hosted by Fox. Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel says the 8 candidates who will be on stage, it's a chance to talk to not just Republicans.
I view the general election as starting right now, where we really do get to talk about Joe Biden and what he's done to this country.
She was in America's Newsroom on Fox. Patients on ventilators and others are being evacuated from a hospital in Los Angeles because of a power blackout. The lights went out yesterday morning, generators kicked on, then part of the hospital lost power altogether last night. It's unclear whether the outage is related to Tropical Storm Hillary. One of the areas hardest hit by Tropical Storm Hillary is Palm Springs, California. There's flooding and mudslides.
Coachella Valley is ill-prepared for any kind of flooding because we're in the desert, but they're really not prepared for this type of emergency.
Tropical Storm Harold is hitting parts of South Texas with wind and rain today. Federal prosecutors are in West Texas today to try to get a river barrier removed.
The U.S. Attorney in West Texas said the floating barrier of buoys poses a threat to navigation and safety, and it's also angered Mexico. Governor Greg Abbott says the Biden administration should be angry about the number of people who've been killed trying to cross the river, which he says is one reason they installed it. Abbott says as long as the federal government isn't doing more to secure the border.
We are fully authorized by the Constitution of the United States of America to do exactly what we are doing, and that is to secure the border.
The Justice Department will ask for an injunction against future river barriers, but also demand the removal of the existing ones. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Excessive. It's partly cloudy and 77 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. That's the word to describe the heat Indiana is feeling this week.
What stands out to me is the how prolonged the heat really is. It's going to be all week long from now through Friday. The humidity will be very excessive.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service says heat indexes will reach the mid-hundreds along with high humidity. IU health doctors say that they have already seen a lot more people in the hospital this week with heat-related illnesses. 2 Greenwood police officers have been suspended. Ryan Hedrick tells you why.
The suspended officers Samuel Bowen and Elijah Allen are accused of using police department computers to send obscene and sexually suggestive content while on duty. 3 other officers have resigned. Chief James Eisen has recommended firing the suspended officers if the accusations are true. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC, Mobile News.
It was self-inflicted. That's the conclusion that investigators have come to in the death of a boy on the east side Sunday evening. The 11-year-old boy accidentally shot himself in a second-story room of a home near New York and Sherman. Bill Vukovich II has died. The former IndyCar driver who started 12 Indianapolis 500s passed away this week. He was Rookie of the Year in 1968. His father, Bill Vukovich Sr., won back-to-back 500s in the 50s. The younger Vukovich was 79. And you've heard about Colts running back Jonathan Taylor requesting a trade.
Well, it seems Indianapolis is allowing it to happen. I'm Donnie Burgess. Jonathan Taylor will now be allowed to talk to other teams about a potential trade, which is something the All-Pro running back requested last month. Taylor wants a contract extension with the Colts and more money, but so far that hasn't happened. Taylor has 1 year left on his rookie deal. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Indiana Digital Learning School is the perfect choice for students who desire an academic challenge with an education plan tailored to their individual needs and interests. Do you have an advanced teen that would benefit from dual enrollment opportunities that allow them to earn high school and college credits? Indiana Digital Learning School is a tuition-free online public school now enrolling for the 2023-24 school year. Learn more at k12.com/INDLS. Indiana Digital Learning School, committed to the success of every student.
459 Barber Lounge, the #1 choice for men's haircuts in Indiana on 86th Street across from the Fashion Mall. 459online.com. Tell them Tony Cat sent you.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, August 22nd. It's 5 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and we're glad you're listening this morning. You can follow along on YouTube if you'd like. Type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. So 54% of Americans say they disapprove of the way Joe Biden is handling his job, and this is according to a new survey from the American Research Group. 48% say they expect that their financial situation in their household will be better in a year from now. What's going to change a year from now?
So this new poll out has Biden at 54% disapprove, 41% approve. I would say there are probably that many stupid people in the country, and so that's probably about right. It is very similar to where it was in July. And isn't it fascinating? So if you read, and I've always encouraged people to do this, some of the greatest writings in the history of man are what are called the Federalist Papers. And you can readily access these at your own leisure. Libraries are very woke now, so maybe they don't have them anymore, but they're readily available on the internet. And the Federalist Papers are the writings back and forth amongst the people who became what we now know as the Founding Fathers. And always they never could have envisioned blah, blah, blah. And you have no idea what they meant when they said, no, it's all there. If you read the writings of these people back and forth, you know exactly what they meant to do when they put the country together, what the Constitution was. All of this stuff is spelled out in these writings back and forth. And one of the things that they talked about is, a giant warning sign on political parties. because they recognize that when it becomes club sport, people defend the club ahead of the people. And when you're defending the club ahead of the people, you don't get the best people to be in charge of society. And, it has been a steady downward tick since the inception of the country. Obviously, political parties have become more and more prevalent and prominent. We now have 2 major political parties, and look at the condition of the country. And now we're about to have, arguably, the 2 most unlikable people based on polling and approval ratings, etc., to ever be a major party nominee, and they're going to be the nominees of both parties. So the Founding Fathers, once again, basically 100% correct. They knew what would happen, and it's going to be Trump against Biden, where everyone hates both of these people, and if either side would just pick anybody else, they'd probably win running away, but because parties can't get out of their own way, here we are.
It's very polarizing. I think Biden is going to lose this election if the economy doesn't improve.
Well, no, but here's the problem, Casey. If all the legal votes are counted, probably right. But when you have mass mail-in unaccountable voting and more importantly, vote tallying, well, then you can make the vote be whatever you want to be. Look, I mean, we are led to believe that 81 million people voted for a guy who never left his basement in 2020. The guy never left his basement. We are led to believe that America is now so apathetic when it comes to politics. They said, I have no idea what this guy stands for, and he's old and decrepit and super racist and never leaves his basement. Sure, I'll vote for him.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So why would we think, if indeed that was the standard of 2020, that something going wrong with the economy is going to... Because the economy sucked in 2022.
Well, at the beginning of the summer, the White House put out this press release, and they were saying how great Bidenomics is and that it's working, but people don't believe it. And people see this when they go to the grocery store, when they go to the gas station, when you're paying the electric bill. Every month, every week, you're hit with this.
Yeah, but look at last year. Look at last year, and you would have thought if there was ever a time, hey, the party opposite that is not in power is going to just clean up, and you're going to, win 60 seats in the House, and you're going to win 5 or 6 seats in the Senate. What has changed?
Right.
I mean,
you're right, because in 22, the GOP, they campaigned on fixing inflation and lowering the crime.
There's 2 things at play here. Number one, people don't like or trust Republicans because they're not likable and they're not trustworthy. And the Republicans have absolutely 100% done that to themselves. And 2, there's 3 things really at play. That's number one. Number 2, in places like Pennsylvania, where you now have basically the law of the state, is the mass mail-in unaccountable voting. John Fetterman started with a 300,000 vote lead on Dr. Oz. Now, Dr. Oz was an unlikable doofus, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But there's no way John Fetterman started with the guy couldn't, hi, good night, everybody. We're led to believe that many people were so passionate about voting for hi, good night, everybody, that they flooded the United States Postal Service with ballots. Boy, we can't wait to vote early for that. The guy once compared Biden to a collapsed bridge. I'm standing here with this collapsed bridge. That's number 2. And number 3 is Trump remains, and exit polling, all of it shows this, and people can be mad if they want. I'm just telling you what the data shows. Trump's candidates dramatically underperformed non-endorsed Trump candidates in swing states.
Well,
and you can hate me for telling you that. I'm telling you what every single exit poll and piece of data shows.
And along with that is Kevin McCarthy just going on and agreeing with Biden on the debt ceiling.
Sure, that's what I said.
So what do we get?
Well, that's what I said, Casey. The Republicans are wholly unlikable, and you cannot trust them. Let's bring it back local, because this is what we do, and this is why our show is very popular. They all sell out pretty much eventually, Casey. And let's bring it hyper local. Look at our old pal, phony tough guy Jim Banks. Jim Banks, for quite a while in the U.S. House of Representatives, was a pretty decent guy. And he was pretty conservative, and he took some pretty tough votes and kind of said, cool, this is a guy maybe we can kind of depend on to really do what's hard. What happens this year? Jim Banks runs for party leadership, is resoundingly rejected by the party because the party is not conservative. The Republicans are liberal. They're for big government and big spending. And what does Jim do? Instead of standing and fighting and saying, F me, no F you, and making those people miserable, because Jim Banks had the ability, he had enough gravitas, that if he had come out during the Kevin McCarthy vote-a-thon for speaker, we're done here, I'm taking 50 or 60 people with me, and Kevin McCarthy, you'll never be speaker. He had the ability to do that. What did he do?
He rolled over.
He rolled over and kissed the ring finger.
Yeah.
Why? Because Jim Banks wants to be in the club.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be a U.S. senator. He is an office hopper. He wanted the next thing, and he recognized the next thing. And this is the fault of us, Casey. The fault of us as a society. We allow this to happen. We reward this.
He had to get the establishment on his side.
The politicians are more important to people like Jim Banks and almost all the rest of these people than the people. The politicians matter more because we keep rewarding people who get on bended knee and kiss the ring finger of these politicians. And so Jim Banks, if politics is all you care about, absolutely 100% did the right thing by kissing the ring finger of Kevin McCarthy. Why? Nobody good is running against him because he has showed I'm a reliable team player. He's now in bed with Eric Holcomb and Kyle Hupfer, who have endorsed him, and the state party, which the last set of endorsement I would want is from the Indiana Republican Party on anything, have endorsed him, and he's going to be a U.S. Senator. Jim Banks was rewarded for awful behavior. So if all you care about is moving up the ladder, which is what Jim Banks has exposed himself to be, he gets rewarded. We are to blame for this. Bringing this full circle on all of this. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, John Fetterman, Bernie Sanders, pick them all of them, the governance. We have done this because we believe we deserve to be treated like crap, and we keep voting for people who treat us like crap.
It's all about the control and the power. And CNN warning viewers that Donald Trump has a real warning that Donald Trump has a real chance of winning the general election against Biden.
And we've had 3 polls that have come out over the last week here. And I want you to take a look at how close this race is at this particular point. Granted, the general election is over a year away. The largest lead for Joe Biden is just 3 points within the margin of error. No clear leader. Look at these. 1 point, 1 point. If you go back at where we were at this point 4 years ago, Joe Biden's lead was high single digits to low double digits. This is significantly closer than where we were 4 years ago. So this idea that Donald Trump can't win the general election, I want you to lose that idea. This race is very, very close, and Donald Trump is polling better right now than basically at any point during the entire 2020 cycle.
After 4 indictments.
After 4 indictments. It just doesn't really seem to matter.
That's fascinating.
Harry Anton, thank you. Thank you.
Is it possible that Donald Trump will peak too early?
Well, I think you're in an uncharted frontier, and I think it's fascinating that the only 2 people who could lose to each other are going to likely run against each other. Mm-hmm. And the American people claim, at least if you believe polling data, that they are desperately wanting someone else. Yet to bring this conversation full circle and end it where we began, this is why the founding fathers railed against and warned about the danger of political parties. Here is my question to the only Trump person, because there's a lot of people who want Trump for a bevy of reasons. What are you going to get that you're so excited about? Like if you tell me I'm excited, Rob, because it will be 4 years of conflict and Trump is going to help burn the thing to the ground further and expose the cabal. Okay, I'll buy that. But I think more people think the country is going to get markedly better under Trump. And let's face it, Trump did okay. He was an okay president. He wasn't, the greatest president ever. He wasn't the worst. He was okay, did some good things when the going was easy. But when the going got tough, what was Donald Trump's default position? Authoritarianism, massive growth of government, and massive growth of government spending. That was the policy of Trump in crisis. Authoritarianism, massive growth of government, massive growth of government spending. Don't be mad at me for telling you what Donald Trump did. Why would you want more of that? If indeed you're like me and you just say, well, they're all going to let us down anyway. Let's have some fun. Let's get on a roller coaster on the highway to hell, right? Mm-hmm. Fine. We may be in the same camp, but there are a lot of people who think Trump is going to make things better, and he does not have a track record when crisis point hits, of defaulting to liberty and freedom. He certainly doesn't have a track record of constricting government. I remain perplexed by the whole thing.
For the people who want to expose the cabal, hasn't he already done that? Isn't he doing that with every indictment? Don't we already know that?
Yes, and he can't be trusted to fix it because he had a chance to fix it. And it's easy to say, and we keep coming back to this, it's easy to say, well, he didn't know. You're right. He probably did not know the first year he was in there about how deep and awful the federal government and government at all levels is. But he certainly knew by the time he appointed Bill Barr. He certainly knew by the time he appointed Christopher Wray. He certainly knew by the time he had Fauci in charge and was running him out there on a daily basis. Everybody gets a grace period. But after 2 or 3 years, if you're still appointing the same kind of people, then that's a you thing. That's not a them thing. I mean, if you're going to engage in a relationship with a man or a woman who you know has a propensity to cheat on their significant other, then you shouldn't be like, oh my gosh,
surprised by it.
Woe is me. This person did exactly what they've done to everyone else.
Yeah. Definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting a different result. It is 18 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
I alphabetized my soundboard. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. F?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
I have to go to S for Sopranos. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think you got it.
It's so clean now. It's fantastic. Yeah, we have clearly run out of things to talk about. There's nothing else going on in the world.
It's a great world, everything's so.
This show is stupid.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Your neighbor Edwin is a lot like you. She loves summers in Indy, but she hates to paint, so she called Rhino Shield.
So over the years, I've had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
Rhino Shield specifically formulated for our climate. It's better than paint.
I've had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard. But Rhino Shield was right on it.
Right now, take advantage of Rhino Shield's summer savings. Get $1,000 off plus 0% interest for 18 months.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-0696.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-0696. That's 800-583-0696.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When a restaurant closes, my reaction is, that sucks. They had good steak. When regional banks close, or 3 of them close overnight, it freaks me out. This is why I have my own personal gold reserve. It's part of my personal protection plan. Call my friends at Oxford Gold Group. Call 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
There is still time to get a patio this season. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Sounds like a jackal from hell.
And Casey Daniels.
Oh, hot. Want to touch the hiney.
On 93 WIBC.
22 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Is that Bruce Springsteen?
Why would
that's
you
even
do
better.
That
That's
sounds like
John
him.
Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band.
You know, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown are amazing because it is literally as if a cover band had monumental success.
Yeah.
You know, you see this all the time. I'm here to see the Foreigner cover band, you know, Fake Foreigner, whatever it is these days. You know, there's all these famous bands have cover bands. And of course, and God bless these people who are in these cover bands. But let's face it, you might see, you know, an Eagles cover band and maybe they could play The Vogue. They're not playing Ruoff, right?
Yeah.
John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown are the one cover band
That has a following.
who had monumental success because all that guy is a colossal Bruce Springsteen ripoff, and he made $1 gajillion being he's the one cover band that got out and had mainstream success.
I love it when Kevin selects music just to push your buttons. Because you know that's what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
And you know that guy knew when he was what he was doing. You knew. He knew because he sounds just like him, and everybody thinks it's him.
To me, he just sounds like Eddie Wilson and the Cruisers.
So you're saying he's a poser, huh?
Yeah.
Total poser.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Byron Donalds. This is a rep from Florida. And he said that if the mainstream media would just report on the facts and quit editorializing, then it would expose the Bidens to the American public about how dishonest they are.
Yeah, this was interesting. So he was on, I think it was Newsmax he was on, and he was talking about Weiss, the, I guess now, special counsel. Is that what we call him now?
Yeah.
He was a prosecutor who didn't prosecute. So in the most federal government thing ever, he got rewarded, and now he got a promotion, and now he's special counsel. He was talking about how this guy, Weiss, will not produce anything, and that Merrick Garland, the attorney general, as it relates to Hunter Biden, knows exactly what's going on. And then one thing that came out of it that was very interesting was he said the House will start an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden.
Well, look, I know the David Weiss investigation is not going to produce much of anything because if David Weiss was going to do something, he would have done it already. What he tried to do was sweep this stuff under the rug. We all know that. The plea deal that he orchestrated was blown up. And by the way, Merrick Garland knows about the details of this plea deal because any plea deal from a U.S. attorney gets signed off by the attorney general. So we know how deep Merrick Garland is into this. So I don't expect much there. What House Republicans are going to do, we're going to finish our investigation because all the information that has come forward that has frankly made the Department of Justice look like an outfit actually obstructing justice on behalf of the Biden family has come from the House Oversight Committee and the House Judiciary Committee and House Ways and Means. That's how the American people know about all this information. We're going to continue our investigation. I fully expect for the House to start an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden because what we are clearly seeing is that Joe Biden has facilitated and allowed his son to be an unregistered foreign agent, shaking down foreign companies for money to the Biden family while they were selling influence of Joe Biden, or should I say Robert L. Peters, or whatever pseudonym he's working under.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah. Okay, so this David Weiss, though, the Department of Justice is supposed to be independent. We all know that's not happening right now. It is the Biden administration's Department of Justice. But the Washington Post is reporting that Weiss worked with then Delaware Attorney General Beau Biden, who is, of course, the elder son of President Biden. This guy, this Weiss, has a long tenured relationship with the Bidens.
What?
Yeah, and he's not going to do anything to hurt the Bidens or his relationship. And every day new revelations come out about him. And he really should not be the special counsel for the case because he's completely biased.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we've got some very fabulous voicemails, including, I guess Mike Braun has a big event tonight in Carmel, and someone is going and they want to know what they're supposed to ask Mike Braun. And I'm going to lay out what every person, when they see Mike Braun out and about in public, should ask Mike Braun.
It's nice that he came back to Indiana.
Well, you know, he's probably, there's 9,000 people running for governor, but of the 9,000, he's probably the front runner right now. And every single person, there are two questions that every single person should ask Mike Braun. So we like to make our listeners happy, and we're going to make this listener very happy when we come back.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Planning on inviting friends and family over at the end of the summer? You know all about the hustle to get the house looking perfect. You can handle that part like a pro. But there's one thing you can't fix on your own. The cracked bricks, basement floor or concrete cracks, floor and wall gaps, bowed basement walls, or cracked chimneys. Big things that stand out. Indiana Foundation Service knows that all of these signs point to major damage building up in your foundation, and it'll only get worse over time. Don't worry. With a free foundation inspection from Indiana Foundation Service, the team's experts will identify your home's issue at the source. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Visit IndianaFoundation.com today to book your free inspection with a no-obligation quote included. Indiana Foundation Service. There's a reason they are the trusted local experts.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
The U.S. home price index is on the rise, and interest rates are stabilizing. The market is turning more seller-friendly. If you've been waiting, now may be the best time to sell your home. Find out with the agent I recommend, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried about settling for less money with a low-ball instant offer. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Ben in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietl. I wanted to upgrade into a bigger place, so selling my old place at top dollar was a priority. I hired Mark Dietl, and the team was amazing. I got a great cash offer before going on the market that included closing costs with no appraisal. I was blown away by the Mark Dietl team. Call for all the details. Call the agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
When he'll be there, it's 79 and partly cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Former President Trump is expected to make his way to Atlanta on Thursday to surrender in his Georgia election interference case. Trump has been charged with racketeering in possible efforts to overturn the state's 2020 election results. GOP primary candidates are getting ready to debate in Wisconsin.
People here on the ground say they're looking forward to hearing from these candidates who will be out there talking about policy and introducing themselves to the American public. Everyone's preparing a little bit differently. Vivek Ramaswamy out there playing tennis. Other people are spending hours on those preparations. Only two of the candidates who will be up there have done this before. That's former Vice President Mike Pence and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. Former President Trump will not be at the debate. You can hear the debate live tomorrow right here on 93 WIBC. Hollywood studio Lionsgate is reinstating a mask mandate at its Santa Monica office. The move comes in response to a lot of employees there testing positive for COVID. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Indiana Digital Learning School is the perfect choice for students who desire an academic challenge with an education plan tailored to their individual needs and interests. Do you have an advanced teen that would benefit from dual enrollment opportunities that allow them to earn high school and college credits? Indiana Digital Learning School is a tuition-free online public school now enrolling for the 2023-24 school year. Learn more at k12.com/INDLS. Indiana Digital Learning School, committed to the success of every student.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
I'm so sorry you have just reached my answering machine.
It's time to hear from you with your voicemails at 317-684-8444. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Okay, so one of the things we like to do here is we like to make you, the listeners, happy on the voicemail segment. It's kind of your segment. And so from time to time, we like to try to not only play your voices, but answer your questions. And I think this is a very relevant question because, well, Casey, one of the great things about 6 million people running for governor is that they're going to need every vote they can get, which means this show, which I don't know if you know, Casey, has been pretty good the last couple of years at getting people to vote differently than they normally have in the past. Well, we take on a whole new importance. And boy, you know how I hate being important, Casey. It's just something that really I wake up every day and say, gosh, just wish my show didn't have such an impact.
So much pressure.
And so one of the things that we are vowing on this show is every single person running for governor, whoever gets it is going to earn it. At least between 9 and noon on this show every single day with the, look, I get you can only hear us from Ohio to Illinois and all points in between. And, tens of thousands of people are listening, throughout the course of the 3 hours we're on each day. So what little influence we have, we're going to use that to hold every single one of these people accountable so that when whoever wins, you're all going to know exactly where they stand. And I'm going to say right now, the biggest fraudster of the bunch is Mike Braun, because Mike Braun's record, when he had an ability to impact things, does not match the rhetoric when he has no ability to impact things.
Okay.
So we got a call about Mike Braun. Apparently there's some sort of event tonight that he's doing. Someone's going and is asking for some advice.
Hi, Kendall and Casey. Love the show. This is Joanne. I listen every day. Just wanted to let you know that Mike Braun is coming to the American Legion tomorrow night, Tuesday, at 6:15, and that's at 852 West Main in Carmel. Thought, Rod, maybe you might want to come and voice your opinion or hear what he has to say. And if not, if you can't come, I'd like to know what questions I could ask him. That's great, and I'll listen tomorrow for your answer. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
No, we haven't talked about this, but I'm guessing that you're going to say that she should ask him something about the greatest tax increase in the state of Indiana.
Yes, and no, unfortunately I won't be there. I don't think I'll be going to any of these political Republican events because there are probably shoot-on-sight orders if I were to show up. But you're going, and yes, so there are two things you should absolutely, every person, not just this lady, should ask Mike Braun because he's a big, tough-talking conservative in the U.S. Senate where he has no ability to impact things. And everyone should ask Mike Braun why, as a member of the Indiana General Assembly, because he's supposedly a conservative, why in 2017 he rolled over and played dead and voted for the largest tax increase in the history of the state of Indiana, which goes up every single year with no accountability whatsoever. The Republicans just renewed it again. It's going to cost you, the taxpayer, $90 million over the next 3 years, which is the tax on gasoline, which emboldens and promotes INDOT, which I know from experience is about the last organization you would want to give a blank check to. Why did Mike Braun, as a supposed conservative, vote to give now hundreds of millions of dollars in tax increases? Why did he vote to install hundreds of millions of dollars of tax increases on you? How is that conservative? And why did he vote as a part of that budget for more than 40 other tax increases during 2017?
He's been very busy. He's been doing a lot of time here in Indiana, which is, he's running for governor.
Well, he should be.
He needs to get out of the swamp.
Here.
Right. He needs to get out of the swamp and come home.
The other thing, and look, there's a laundry list of things you could ask the guy, but I'm guessing they're not going to let you write a Dickens novel as you're at this event. The other thing that you should ask him, and everyone should ask him, is why he thinks it's okay that you are being taxed out of being able to afford your home. Because we received a very detailed account from a listener of the show who asked him about this at a county fair and was told directly by Braun, this isn't even a big deal. I'm not doing anything to help you with property taxes. It'll fix itself. kiss my ass, have a nice day. Now, I'm not sure if he actually said kiss my ass, but I'm throwing that in there because that is essentially the response. So why does Mike Braun, supposed conservative, think that it's no big deal that your property taxes have doubled or in some case tripled over the last couple of years? And why is he not planning to do absolutely anything about it? And how does he actually think it's going to fix itself if the housing prices are not dropping?
Well, they're doing that 2-year task force to look into it.
So what, Mike will get back to us in 2 years?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I think what he's saying. And you know, with unlimited funds like he has, it doesn't hurt him.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. And this is Mike Braun is just another rich guy who has bought his way through public office. I mean, think about what he did. He wanted to be a state rep. Okay, he did it. He wanted to be U.S. Senator. He did it. That's fine. That's the country we live in. You can spend as much of your own vast fortune as you want on public office. It's great. But now we, our show, This Us, have the ability to hold him and the other 5 people who are running accountable for their actual record and viewpoint. And Mike Braun's actual record and viewpoint, when he had the ability to do something to help people, was to take a giant middle finger and stick it right in your face and say, shut up and pay. Mm-hmm. You don't get away with that here. All right, our buddy called. We have used this guy in liners before, plays throughout the course of our show. Initially, when he called, he hated you.
Yep.
And then at some point, he forgot Kevin was a human being.
He was dismissive of Kevin.
Yes, that, a young man or whatever.
Yeah, he said young man or whatever he is, or something like that.
Totally dismissive of Kevin's humanity. And then he initially had said, I loved your weekend show, and you were ruining me for him. Mm-hmm. And then immediately after that flipped to the fact that I'm awful. And now he has stayed on the I'm awful bandwagon, which you know, Casey, the rule on that, those people go straight to the front of the line.
Sure.
Yeah, you were talking about Casey's daughter taking a wine class at Purdue. Everybody takes elective jobs. You must have taken one at IUPUI. Isn't that kind of like Ivy Tech? You must have taken one, How to Be Annoying. I'm sure you passed.
Isn't that great?
Well, he was funny this time. He wasn't just...
I'm going to be honest. If this guy did stand-up comedy, I would be front row, front and center. And I would hope he would roast me.
We've talked about this before, and you've obviously been in management and radio. You've seen a lot more than I have. But the mind of the person... Look, we don't have any ability to impact anyone by force, right? I can't raise or lower your taxes. I can't make you wear a mask. I can't let a domestic terrorist write part of the police reform bill. I'm just a guy and working in the very confined boxes of the Federal Communications Commission who broadcasts for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And think about what must be going on in the mind of someone who, it appears, because the guy calls all the time, a very important part of his life is calling the radio show voicemail to make insults at the radio broadcaster, especially when the radio broadcaster lets you know that doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I actually find it quite humorous, and I love that I annoy you that much and that you still listen.
He's putting his best effort in.
Yeah, I think he just wants to be on this show, like an actual member of the show. And he basically is at this point.
By the way, update on the wine tasting class.
Yes. So your daughter is taking a wine tasting class at Purdue.
It's an elective at Purdue. She's got to do it for her degree. She had the first class last night, first day of school. There was no wine tasting.
What?
The wine tasting class. Maybe next week.
All right. So we did get a call. Of course, we had talked about yesterday, Kyle Hupfer out as the head of the GOP. As we told you a month ago, he was going to leave.
Anne Hathaway
Anne Hathaway exit stage left Stooge 1, enter Stooge 2, Holcomb nominating Anne Hathaway, and meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Republican Party remains very invested in as much taxation and as much spending and as much growth of government as possible. Somebody called about that.
Yeah, I just have to comment on what you just said on listening on the resignation of Kyle Hupfer. Personally, I didn't think he was ever going to resign. I figured he'd try to stay there until he was dead. So I would say, I would have said good riddance, but I do have a feeling he's going to be having a lot of influence, as you said. Number two, with regards to them probably going to put in Brad Chambers. I think they probably end up rigging the primary in order to get Brad Chambers in. And you listed, Rob, the accomplishments well, if you can even call them that, of the big taxes, big government that Holcomb Inc. has done. And I would say this is a reason. Maybe all those are a reason. Contrast that to a state like Florida, where I plan to be moving pretty soon after college because, look, I was born and raised here, a Hoosier, and I loved every minute of it. But you know what? Once I'm out of here, and I encourage anybody who's my age, once you graduate, move to a state that's going to be much better to live in.
I think I know who that is.
He's famous.
Yeah.
That's the guy that called Todd Young the Duke of Spindingburg on C-SPAN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, one thing he's going to get when he moves to Florida is he's not going to get that income tax.
Yeah.
So-
Florida has none.
Right.
Big zero.
Yeah.
And you've lived there, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's like getting a $10,000 raise.
Yeah. What is the compelling, and this is the question I ask people, unless you are, so look, for me, it's my parents are here, my grandparents are here, you know, this is the only life I've ever known, and I freely accept that's the state version of being a townie, right? I'm a Hoosier lifer.
Yeah.
But if you are making the case to a young, vibrant person who has options and abilities and unlike me is into clinging to the days of yore like they're, you know, spiraling towards the core of the earth. What is the compelling reason to tell somebody, come and stay in Indiana? Your taxes aren't low. The government's very big. There's not all sorts of liberties and freedoms. I mean, what is the pitch? If you're looking at Florida or Texas or, you know, any of these other places, Tennessee, what's the pitch to Indiana? There's not one, right? I mean,
I think that's one of the reasons Eric Holcomb keeps talking about bringing businesses to Indiana.
The problem with the businesses, and this is when I first started in government, look, jobs don't matter. This is the thing. It'll create 4,000 jobs. Well, we always hear how low Indiana's unemployment rate is, so jobs don't matter. When they say it'll create 4,000 jobs, what you need to insert is it'll bring 3,500 people who don't live in this state to Indiana. Do you want 3,500 new people moving in here? Because all I seem to get out of it, or all that I've seen from it the past 10, 15 years, is once sweet, awesome, beautiful corn and bean fields that were a fixture and staple of the landscape of the state have been bulldozed over for high-density single-family housing developments, house farms, like they're going out of style. That wasn't the Indiana I grew up in. I don't view that as progress. Now, if you had said, well, we brought all these jobs here and we brought all this development here and your taxes have never been lowered. We've gotten rid of the income tax and we've near abolished property taxes and the gas tax has never gone up. Okay, now you're speaking my language because I'm getting something out of this.
Yeah.
But all that happens for all this supposed record revenue that they're bringing in because of these jobs and these businesses is bigger, more cumbersome, more expensive government. Why would I want that?
Well, you know, that task force that we mentioned that's going to look into the property taxes, and they do say this is going to be a 2-year investigation. One of the things that they did mention was that they were going to look at the income tax. And if they really want to drive people to the state, that is something they need to consider because people are moving to Florida and Texas and Tennessee. Because when you do, you get an immediate raise.
Yep, you're absolutely right. All right, Hammer's next.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock today, Debate Eve. Tony Katz will join us. We'll get you primed and ready. 93 WIBC.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop.
Sarah, you don't look so good. Are you okay?
To be honest, I did it again last night. I promised myself it would be just one glass of wine, and I drank the whole bottle.
You need to get the drinking under control, Sarah. Trust me, I know. Wine o'clock used to be my favorite time of day, but I found that one glass always turned into more and realized I needed help. I did some research and found naltrexone.
Naltrexone?
It's an FDA-approved medication that reduces cravings and pleasure from drinking, making it easier to drink less or quit alcohol altogether. I started seeing results almost immediately.
How'd you get started with naltrexone?
It's easy with Or Health. Just send them a text and get a secure link to their private online assessment. One of their licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment and, if medication is right for you, prescribe it directly online. They even deliver your prescription right to your front door. No doctor's office visits required.
Thanks, Anne. I'm texting now.
You really can stop drinking or just drink less. Text PROMISE to 323232 to get started today. Text the word PROMISE to 323232. Text PROMISE to 323232.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-593-4411. 800-593-4411. 800-593-4411.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
My wife and I are customers of Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. And by the way, they've seen their competition double, even triple their delivery charges. Thompson Furniture still delivers for free within 75 miles. White glove delivery and setup, it's all for free. This team is the best at what they do. Family owned since 1927.
Lazy Boys, Tempur-Pedic, Smith Brothers, huge outdoor furniture selection, guaranteed best price, and it's delivered for free. Only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
The Dell Technologies Back to School event is on with deals on top tech for class, hobbies, and more. Now, when you buy, you support a cause. With every eligible purchase, Dell will donate to UNICEF in support of GIGA, a UNICEF ITU global initiative to connect schools across the globe to the internet. Accidental damage protection included. Get rare deals on select laptops and desktops powered by the latest Intel Core processors. Save now at Dell.com/deals. UNICEF does not endorse any company, brand, product, or service.
Head to WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Hoosier Hardwood Festival, August 25th through the 27th at the Boone County Fairgrounds. Fun for the whole family, featuring Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel.
In Jamaica, they got lots of pretty
10 minutes in front of 11, you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Hammer from the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel show joins us. So are we at a breaking point with Jonathan Taylor and the Colts?
Wait. Before you answer that, because I know you are just livid and totally confused about this bumper music that Kev's playing. It is actually not Kev's fault. We were talking about off air the movie Animal House. And Stephen Bishop, who did this song, was the guy playing the guitar where John Belushi famously walks down the stairs, takes it from him, smashes it, and hands it back to him, and he says,
"Romantic guy" in the credits.
Yes, absolutely.
Which was an impromptu scene.
Yes. Apparently, the original scene did not call for that, and that's why John Belushi may be the most funny person who's ever lived.
Now, before we get to Jonathan Taylor, since we're talking about John Belushi, I was in bed last night, could not get to sleep. I'm just, Crystal's asleep already, and I'm just channel surfing, and I came across on one of the movie channels, Blues Brothers 2000.
Oh, no.
Now, obviously, John Belushi not in this one, as he died a long time ago. But this thing stinks.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
I knew it existed.
Oh, you've never seen it?
But I never really wanted to see it. But I was in bed. It was like midnight. I was like, man, I got nothing else going on. So I watched a little bit of it. It's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up there with Caddyshack 2 as one of the worst sequels of all time.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, they did it try to be as a tribute to John Belushi and thought, we'll bring these people back, and they'd wanted to do it for years. And John Goodman was probably a pretty good choice, but that script is terrible.
It's awful.
It's just awful.
They got a kid running around with a convict. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, they're into voodoo land, and they're driving underwater, and
it's just really, really bad. Like, I knew it was bad. It's been out for like 3-something years. Yeah. I never really had the stomach to watch it, but I was just so defeated last night. It's like, man, all right, let's watch it. And
speaking of defeated, if you're a Colts fan, you got to be pretty defeated right now because Jonathan Taylor has just turned into a pretty horrific dude. And about 3 or 4 months ago, seemed like a great guy to be the face of your franchise.
His words, Jonathan Taylor's words, I want to be a Colt for life.
Yeah.
And then he changes agents, and now all of a sudden, it's a hot mess. I think a lot of this is on the agent. I think this has been handled incredibly poorly. And honestly, I know a lot of people like to criticize Jim Irsay for a lot of things. I mean, you've gone after him before, Rob. But in terms of this little back and forth with Jonathan Taylor, I'm Team Irsay all the way. The players signed a collective bargaining agreement. Yeah. They elected the reps. They agreed to the deal. You're still under contract. Now, some of the other players have gotten extensions. But guess what? You play running back, and that position has been devalued last couple of years. So I'm sorry, you agreed to this deal. I'm with Irsay here.
Yeah, but doesn't Irsay look like an idiot for coming out emphatically, we will not trade Jonathan Taylor now or in October? And now it's come out, well, they've given him permission to try to find somebody to take him off their hands.
Well, I mean, that's what owners and general managers do. Right? Like if you're playing a game of poker, you don't sit around and look at everybody. I've got fantastic cards. I have no intentions of folding. I will not be bluffing. I've got fantastic cards.
But his word means absolutely nothing because he could have just said nothing.
Well, I mean, that's the game, right? Like, how many times have you seen a head coach go, this quarterback is our guy, Jay Cutler is our guy, or whoever it is, and the next week they get benched?
But isn't it a little different when it's the owner? I mean, let's face it, this guy steals $1 gajillion from poor and middle-class people every single year to fund his free stadium. Shouldn't I expect, let me rephrase that, legally steals $1 gajillion every year via taxation for him to have a free stadium, and I can't even get a little honesty out of the guy? Doesn't he owe it to be honest to me since he's taking my money to put up his stadium?
I want to play poker with you. I want to play a board game with Rob because he's all about honesty. Like, business deals get done, and sometimes you have to bluff. Sometimes you have to say some things. I mean, I don't really understand how the stadium factors into the Jonathan Taylor situation.
He looks like an idiot. He's totally untrustworthy.
Well, he's bluffing when he said, I want to be here for life. That was the bluff.
I mean, that's what happens in business, and you've ran a business. Yeah. I'm sure you've ran into people.
Didn't lie to my clients.
Well, maybe you should have. Maybe you'd still be in business instead of here.
Is he going to be able to find a trade partner, you think?
I mean,
will he go to Minnesota?
He's damaged goods, I think, but somebody will take a chance on him. Now, I don't think you're getting a first rounder.
No way.
I don't even know if you're getting a second rounder at this point. If I'm the Colts, I just hang on to him. If he becomes healthy, if he passes a physical and he doesn't want to play, you fine him every single day.
Yep.
Or if he wants to play and better his value for another team, then just wait till some other team has an injury, because it's going to happen, and trade him to them.
Would you be my agent?
I'd love to be your agent.
Rob Kendall was fired from WIBC.
Next question.
Hey, what's coming up this afternoon?
We got the folks from Indy Bacon Fest coming in.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Which is not good when you're on a diet. But we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And it's debate pregame.
Oh, yeah.
The night before the debate reading tonight.
Thank you, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
How would you like to free up some serious cash? Or at the very least, cut your monthly payments by $1,000 or so each month? Hey, what's up? It's Hammer here from the Hammer and Nigel Show. People are doing that every day with Loan Pronto's all new Equity Express line of credit. Listen, your home value is way up, and Loan Pronto can help you access the equity without touching your primary mortgage. You can get tens of thousands out with very little paperwork and usually without an appraisal. With Loan Pronto, you can get $50,000 or $100,000 out right now. Pay off all of those 27% interest credit cards or your personal loans. For every $10,000 of debt that you consolidate, you can cut your monthly payments by nearly $500. Stop paying insane credit card rates. Call Loan Pronto right now. 317-953-6525. 317-953-6525 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
So Paladana Cubano, the newest and tastiest Cuban sandwich restaurant in Indy. They got a killer Cuban sandwich. Plus, that Reuben Cuban is
Cuban
amazing.
Reuben's
Cuban
amazing,
Reuben.
baby.
By the way, Garage Food Hall in the Bottle Works district there downtown.
And when you're there, stop by Jay's Lobster and Fish Market. The lobster rolls, the best in the city. That's a bold statement, but I stand by it. Best lobster rolls in Indy. Jay's Lobster and Fish Market. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years.
I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money.
Then it happened.
There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me.
My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made.
I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple weeks of me being in class.
Reggie hit a home run.
The field is teeming with jobs.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The school is amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0696. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0696. That's 800-583-0696. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your independent, locally owned American Standard hometown dealer in Johnson County, Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. Are you tired of the free air conditioner or furnace sketchy claims and want an honest quote with honest pricing from people who live and work in your community? Call Marshall Mechanical. Just go to callthemarshallnow.com to schedule an appointment. Financing options are available, subject to credit approval. Call for details. Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in Johnson County.
There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Local news in 2 minutes from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
A lawyer turns himself in. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. John Eastman surrenders in Atlanta, one of 18 Trump co-defendants accused in a conspiracy to overturn Joe Biden's election win in Georgia after the 2020 election. The first to turn himself in this morning was Scott Hall, accused of being part of a plan to tamper with voting machines. The rest have until noon Friday to surrender. Former President Trump plans to turn himself in Thursday, the day after the first Republican presidential debate, where he will not be on stage. 8 candidates will be.
We've seen these candidates work hard. We felt that this criteria was critical to put them in a position to be viable, to win the nomination and win the presidency. We're pleased to see that. We're glad we have 8. 8 is great.
Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel on Fox. President Biden is promoting a new income-based program to help student loan borrowers get out of debt.
The new rollout here of this plan will be $475 billion over a 10-year budget window, according to the Penn-Wharton budget model. Now, President Joe Biden releasing a campaign-style ad as he announced that all the student forgiveness that he's taken, then also people can sign up for the Saving on a Valuable Education Plan, or SAVE plan.
We've already approved over $116 billion in debt cancellation for 3.4 million Americans, no matter how many lawsuits, challenges, or roadblocks Republican elected officials or special interests try to put in our way.
Now, because the U.S. Supreme Court shot down the larger $440 billion plan in one chunk, the president's been trying to find ways to add it up into pieces.
Fox business correspondent Edward Lawrence at the White House. In a remote part of Pakistan, it's reported that military commandos and helicopters have rescued 4 children so far who'd been 1,100 feet up, dangling in a cable car, with 2 more kids and 2 adults still up there. A cable snapped when the car was crossing a river canyon, taking the kids to school. It's been stuck up there for about 13 hours now. There's concern that wind from the helicopters could weaken the remaining cables holding the car up. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How hot and what to look out for. It's 81 and partly cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Temperatures in the 90s with lots of humidity, and it's primed to have you feeling a little loopy if you're outside for too long. And if that starts happening to you, you need to look for the signs, says Dr. Stephen Mahan with IU Health Urgent Care.
When there's an absence of sweating, any type of altered mental status, confusion, passing out.
He tells Wish TV any of those means heat exhaustion or heat stroke, both of which means you should seek medical attention. 2 toddlers who were missing on Monday have been found, but the man accused of taking the children is still on the loose. Cortez Pence and Sincere Pence, both under the age of 3, were found safe, but police are still looking for Rodney Pence, who was the kid's non-custodial father. The Greenwood Police Department lost several officers due to accusations of misconduct. Ryan Hedrick explains.
3 officers have resigned and 2 others are facing termination due to multiple violations of department policies. Samuel Bowen and Elijah Allen will appear before the Greenwood Police Merit Commission in late September for accusations of sending derogatory or sexually explicit content using company computers while on duty. Chief James Eisen says if they're found guilty, he wants them fired. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indiana's near-total abortion ban is now taking effect. That's because the state Supreme Court decided not to rehear arguments from the ACLU on whether or not the new law restricting abortions is unconstitutional. This law bans abortion in nearly all cases, aside from a few exceptions. The ACLU calling it a dark day in Indiana, while the Attorney General, Todd Rokita, is pleased with the outcome. The Indianapolis Colts are allowing Jonathan Taylor to seek a trade. The running back has been locked in a contract dispute with the team all off-season long anyway. What some fans think about it.
I don't know if there's necessarily a bad guy. I think it's just kind of how things are going right now with the running back market. So, unfortunately, both sides kind of look bad at this point, I think.
I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Indy, stop spoiling your summers painting year after year. Do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a 2-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
Rhino Shield's ceramic coating is specifically formulated for our climate.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
Indy, this just in. Take advantage of Rhino Shield's summer savings. Get $1,000 off plus 0% interest for 18 months.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Want to look your best? Then go to the best. Go where I go. 459 Barber Lounge. Across from the Fashion Mall on 86th Street. 459online.com. Tell them Tony Cat sent you.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
It's Tuesday, August 22nd. It's 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. His name is Rob Kendall. He's on Twitter at Rob M. Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. I'm there too. Casey Daniels 317. And right now you can watch us both on YouTube if you type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. So we got some new polling out, and I can just make this really quick and easy. Trump is in the lead.
No kidding.
End of story.
Oh, my goodness.
There's this new poll. This one came out of Iowa. And, of course, Donald Trump is holding a 2-1 lead over Ron DeSantis in Iowa. But the interesting thing about this is that Tim Scott has now climbed to third place. Everybody preparing for the presidential debate tomorrow night. But Trump leading DeSantis 41-19.
So Donald Trump lost, air quote, lost Iowa in 2016. Now, I say lost. He lost by a couple votes. I mean, it was very close. He lost by one delegate. So in terms of, just in case you're not familiar, I think most of our audience is, but just in case you aren't, the way the parties pick the president is they have what are called pledged delegates. So in Iowa, they are allotted X amount of delegates. It's usually done based on population. And then each state kind of has their own primary type system. Iowa's is a caucus, and they divide their delegates up equally. So a loss in Iowa, if it's close, sometimes it's even a split of the delegates, even though like one guy might have got 500 more votes. But in terms of actually how we're keeping score, it would be a tie, but obviously one side will claim momentum, et cetera. Trump lost Iowa to Ted Cruz by, I think, one delegate in 2016. And he lost because he had terrible ground operations. And I've always said the amazing thing about Donald Trump in 2016 was it was this most ragtag band of brothers type campaign ever. And what I mean by that is there was a group of people, and it was an actual group. I think it was called Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin or something like that, Trump group. And what they would do, and I was in this group and I would see them do this in real time. Hey, I'm going to be in the parking lot at the Wendy's off of such and such street from 2 until 3. I'll have 300 signs. Come get them. Mm-hmm. And 30 minutes later, the person say, hey, all out of signs. Thanks for everybody who came. They would just, on their own, unaffiliated with the campaign, walk in parades. And while that was great, and it ultimately helped him in the general election because he had the Republican Party apparatus to kind of help harness with those people, it hurt him in a place like Iowa where organization is so key because it's a caucus. And if you look at, while DeSantis is way behind in terms of, hey, who would you vote for? The fundraising, Keep the Troops Rallied email that DeSantis sent out recently was talking about how, well, when you factor in second preference, which may sound stupid to people, but bear with me, I'm statistically tied with Trump. Mm-hmm. Well, that's important because in a caucus, second preference matters because everybody votes for somebody and then people start falling off and then you have to go to your second choice. Well, that matters if DeSantis is your second choice because he can get the vote counts the same on the second ballot as it does the first. So my point on all of this is you could have some weird anomaly where Ron DeSantis enters Iowa still down, say, 20 points
but then walks away
and wins the Iowa caucus.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that just like with Ted Cruz, where Ted Cruz wins Iowa, that he's going to barnstorm into New Hampshire with some sort of momentum? No, Trump crushed him there. And then, basically it was play catch up to Trump the entire rest of the way, and Trump won easily. But they're all in big trouble. I mean, it is amazing how nothing seems to impact Donald Trump in a Republican primary.
My latest email from Ron DeSantis says, Casey, the time for chirping from the sidelines is over.
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday night is the night we've been preparing for. It's our opportunity to reach millions of voters who can join our movement and build. Okay, so Tim Scott, who is now in third place in Iowa, is placing an $8 million ad buy in Iowa and in New Hampshire. But at what point do these others, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, who has spent a lot of time in Iowa, Chris Christie, even Vivek Ramaswamy, who's not doing that great in Iowa, when do they start dropping out?
Well, okay, so just real quick so people know the polling numbers, because we're obviously talking about said poll. In this poll cited here, it's a Des Moines Register poll, so it's a local Iowa poll. Des Moines Register, as it's named, the paper of record in Iowa. Trump at 41, DeSantis 19, Scott 9, Haley 6, Pence 6, and then it's down from there, which probably seems about right. Which, if you were to say, Rob, do you think this is accurate? It's probably in the ballpark. You raise a good question, and the question is, or the answer to that question is, as long as there is some fool willing to give them money, they will stay. They will stay in the race.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with a Mike Pence or Nikki Haley, or even probably a Tim Scott. Now, Tim Scott will be able to say, "Look, I got to stay till South Carolina because that's my home state, and we'll see how we do there, and then we'll reevaluate." But you've banked everything on Iowa. You don't get it done there, or you get embarrassed there.
Well, especially Mike Pence.
Yeah.
He's been spending a lot of time in Iowa.
Generally, the top three move on. And look, I get the politics has changed, and the way we judge politicians has changed, and the way we judge success in politics has changed. But traditionally, there's usually, they call it 3 tickets out of Iowa. If you get 1, 2, or 3, hey, you're in the game. This is what Rudy Giuliani ran into in 2008. I realize I'm going way back in the time machine. If everybody remembers, Rudy Giuliani was the front runner for the Republican nomination for president. Like all the polls early on, Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor, he's leading the Republican nomination process. The problem for Giuliani was there was not a state that lined up to his sort of Republicanism until Florida, which was the 4th or 5th state to vote. So Iowa traditionally is a socially conservative state. The people who vote in a Republican primary. Well, he gets smoked there.
Yeah.
And then New Hampshire is kind of an independent state, but again, doesn't really line up for him. He gets smoked there. He gets to South Carolina, very conservative state in a Republican primary, gets smoked there. And he keeps doing this thing of, I'm banking everything on Florida. Well, by the time it gets to Florida, you've already got your front, 3 people. And it was, where was it? It was, I forget who it was. It was McCain and Doofus that got in, and Thompson, the actor, and then Romney was in there for. I mean, you get my point, though. It's like your momentum only lasts, or being able to bullcrap people into thinking your momentum is only lasts so far. So 3 out, and right now it looks like it'll probably be Trump, DeSantis, and Scott. But obviously, there's a world of time between now and
the caucus.
Yeah, January.
So about 2/3 of Trump supporters say that their mind is made up, with a third saying they could be persuaded to back somebody else. And I guess that's what DeSantis and everybody else is hoping for. Here's
what's very interesting about this, though. And again, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not saying this is you should bank this and take it home. DeSantis sent that fundraising email or email to his supporters or whatever out about the second preference. And there is a very real world that, because Donald Trump is probably not anyone's second preference. I mean, maybe the Ramaswamy people, but look, if you are voting, if you're Trump, you're Trump, right? I mean, isn't that fair to say? If you are Trump, there's a good chance you are all in on Trump. But I think there's a lot of people who might not be in on DeSantis on 1, but might be in on DeSantis on two.
Yeah.
Like if you're Christie, don't you tell your people, hey, we got to stop Trump. That's my whole campaign. And if I don't win on the first one, go to DeSantis. If you're Pence, and clearly he wants to stop Trump, don't you maybe say, the same thing? If I'm out ski, go with DeSantis. Let's all band together and try to get him, within a reasonable area of Trump where nobody can declare victory, and we draw and go to New Hampshire. So there's a long way to go because of the way Iowa is set up.
And if some of these other people were to drop out and they all get behind someone like DeSantis, well, now you have more of a match.
Yeah.
You don't have Trump with this commanding lead. And he does have another lead in another poll, and this one is in South Carolina, where he has nearly a 35-point lead over Ron DeSantis, and this is the latest poll conducted by Trafalgar. So in South Carolina, again, Donald Trump in the lead at 47%, Ron DeSantis, and then Tim Scott tied. You would expect Tim Scott to perform well in South Carolina. They're tied for second at 13%, and then it goes down to Nikki Haley, and then all the rest. Mike Pence at 1%.
Yeah, you hate to see
in
that.
South Carolina.
Yeah, you just hate to see that. And
hey, Ryan Binkley, the guy that we had on, the guy from Texas.
Yeah.
He actually is polling at 0.2%.
Hey, friend of the show, Ryan Binkley.
Not even a full percentage point.
But he is beating Hutchinson and Burgum. And is there anybody else that they polled? Oh, Will Hurd. He's beating Suarez. See, our guy Binkley, he's like the guy.
Is he our guy?
He's like the guy that starts 30. No, trust me. He was very nice. He is not our guy, but he was very nice. And I thought it was very interesting to learn how somebody runs for president. He's like the guy that starts, let's say, 30 32nd at the Indianapolis 500. And you know statistically his odds are 1,000 to 1. But midway through the first quarter of the race, there's been an accident or two. He's still on the track. He's now moved up to 28th, and there's like this. It was Stingray Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Binkley is our Stingray Rob, where you're like,
Stingray.
he's still in the race. And then two minutes later, you hear Mark James, there's been a crash in turn 4, and Binkley is out.
He's out. Yeah, he's out. Well, even CNN admitting that the idea that Donald Trump can't win the general election is off. And CNN says, I want you to lose that idea. The race is very, very close, and Donald Trump's polling better and better and just continues to gain. It is 16 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob?
Yes.
Pop quiz this morning. Let's see how well your brain is working.
Let's do it.
Okay, you ready? What's 12 times 3?
36. That's correct.
Yes, very good.
I don't even need to phone a friend or anything.
You got it. You're so good, so smart. Well, how would you like to get a 36% bonus when you invest your money? If you invest $100,000, you get a $36,000 bonus. And if you invest $200,000, you get a $72,000 bonus.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. You know that because you're listening to this hopefully soon to be award-winning program. Not only can you get a 36% bonus, you also get a competitive return, an average of 7% a year for the past 10 years. Plus, your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy at 317-932-9912.
This 36% bonus won't last long, so call 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
Stopped on 465
From
again.
the north side
We haven't moved on 37 since
to the
yesterday.
south side,
Avoid south side 465.
to the west side,
Yeah, stopped on westbound 465
to
again.
the east
People
side.
exchanging Gridlock all the way through the east side.
Traffic's a bear.
Drove into a ditch through the tree line.
And
just
Matt
shy.
Bear?
Traffic stop on the right.
He's
shoulder.
a beast.
Traffic jam of epic proportion.
Helping you navigate the...
Oh, come on.
And the...
Let's go.
And the... With Matt Bear Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
500 Guns is just east of the Speedway and the Viaduct on 16th Street. Joe and Guy Montgomery are the experts to trust when you want to buy or sell guns. They buy single guns or entire collections. If you've decided this is the year to become a gun owner or to add to your collection, don't buy until you visit 500 Guns. Contrary to what many think, you actually can get better pricing at 500 Guns than at the big box stores, and a lot better service. See them today. 500 Guns, West 16th Street, Indianapolis.
Hey, JMV here with Lance Smith, owner of LD Smith Plumbing. And Lance, what's that on your shirt?
Well, I just helped pull out 50 feet of old sewer line and installed a new water heater. Oh, and I just ate some chocolate pudding, too.
So that could be mud, chocolate, or...
I guess so.
Oh, no, Lance. We're out of here. Let Lance and his heroes handle all of your plumbing problems. They're truly dirty, stinking honest. LDSmithPlumbing.com today.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years.
I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money.
Then it happened.
There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me.
My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made.
I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple of weeks of me being in class.
Reggie hit a home run.
The field is teeming with jobs.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The school is amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
The Hoosier Hardwood Festival, August 25th through 27th at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Lebanon. Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel, petting zoo, shopping, and more. HoosierHardwoodFestival.com.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Anymore, you're just another voice on the radio.
20 minutes after 11, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So Joe Biden was in Hawaii yesterday. He compared a small kitchen fire he once had in his home to thousands of Maui residents losing their entire homes, their cars, their possessions, and in many cases, their lives.
It may be the most offensive thing he's ever said, and that is so saying something because of all the offensive things he's actually said.
Yeah, I mean, he in his speech, he was trying to compare someone losing everything including potential family members, to him almost losing his classic Corvette.
You know who he has become, Casey? And it just dawned on me, and sometimes my mind is so fertile and ever-moving that I will just be hit with a wave of brilliance while we are on the air. He has become Michael Scott from The Office, where everything is about him. And there is an episode of The Office where Michael Scott, the Steve Carell character, is for some reason making bacon in his bedroom.
And he steps on the grill.
On the George Foreman grill. Yeah. And he is just convinced everyone he can't walk, he can't move, which of course is all stupid and it's totally over the top and dramatic. And Dwight, the little stoogey assistant guy, is seriously injured in a car crash and they have to get him to the hospital. And the whole time, Michael is annoyed that he has to take his supposed best friend to the hospital for a serious head injury. And he is trying to get the doctors to look at him. And he's trying to put his foot in the X-ray, in the CAT scan machine or whatever it is. It's all about him. That is Joe Biden. Joe Biden has become Michael Scott from The Office.
If we could only bubble wrap him like Michael Scott did with his foot.
Your kitchen fire 19 years ago, which was put out in 20 minutes and everyone's totally 100% fine, is nowhere even close to what these people have lost in Maui.
Yeah. Do you think that his speechwriters, I mean, was that written or was that totally ad lib?
No,
There's no way that somebody thought that that was a good idea.
I think, and this is why they wouldn't let him go to New Palestine. And I think the difference, I think the major difference here is this is a totally Democrat. Ohio's a Republican state. That was a Republican area. Hawaii is a deep, deep blue state. And they said, well, and it's easy, it's because of the media coverage and everything else. They're trying to tie it to climate change. And, Ohio was, hey, train derailment, whatever. This one, hey, we can bank this on climate change. You've seen Jay Inslee, the governor of Washington, out being disgusting and gross about that. And so they said, hey, he's got to go. And this is why they don't want him to go, because they know what he's going to do when he goes.
It's so inappropriate to me that they're focusing on the climate change aspect of this. First of all, they're still trying to recover bodies. They're still sifting through metal and ash. They're still identifying DNA. And then we have to find out who's accountable for this. I mean, there's been reports that they didn't turn on water to parts of the island due to diversity. And then way down the road, if that's what you're going to go with the climate change, you can address that a long time from now.
But no, they can't, Casey, because you know what Ron Emanuel said, famously, Obama's chief of staff, when Obama was elected president of the United States during the financial crisis, never let a crisis go to waste. And the left will always use every opportunity to try to enhance the role and scope of government. And these climate cultists, who are very, very weird, sick people, this is their religion in many cases. And so absolutely, they are going to use something that they have no idea how it started, why it started, or whatever, and try to say, see, it's another example of climate change.
Yeah, well, you cannot have your ideology be more important than human life. So he was there yesterday, and at one point, he gets distracted by a dog.
What's the boss's name? I said, how you doing, pal?
So he's petting a dog, right? And this would be sweet if this was just your grandpa and this was at a picnic. Unfortunately, he's not, and it's not.
Well, and he does this all the time. Remember, he was talking to that reporter last week, and in the middle of the sentence, he just stops.
And brushed a bug off her shoulder.
He's like, you have a bug on you, and just touches her, which is totally inappropriate for someone you don't know, have never met, whatever. It is, he is a very, very ill man, and the fact that he is running this country is should just scare the heck out of everybody.
It is 11:25 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. There's a new trend that's happening. Now, you've heard of quiet quitting, right? When someone does only the bare minimum at work and puts in only the effort that's required for them
that's every day for Kevin.
To keep the job. You better not be quiet quitting. Well, there's this new thing, and it is called lazy girl jobs. That's a gig for me, man. Where do I sign up?
What is a lazy girl job?
Lazy girl job is it's a viral term, right? And it is a job where it's simple, low stress, low effort, lots of flexibility and freedom. And they've listed.
Isn't that the job everybody wants?
Yes, exactly. And this trend is to do away with the boss babe and the hustle culture, right? Yeah. They're saying no, we've got new priorities. We want to do low effort, lots of flexibility, lots of freedom, low stress, and they list some of these jobs that are part of the lazy.
Is radio show producer? Is that on the list?
I was going to ask you if OnlyFans was on there.
Should be.
Does
right?
that count as a job?
I don't know. There's a lot of maintenance to. There's a lot of maintenance to be had if you're going to do the OnlyFans.
You mean filters? you mean filters, Casey?
Yeah. So cloud engineer is one, e-learning assistant, a translator, customer feedback analyst.
A what?
We do that every day with our voicemails.
What's it called?
Customer feedback analyst, data entry, accountant, freelance writer, museum assistant, the assistant at the museum. library assistant.
Oh yeah,
not in
not in the Hamilton East Public Library.
Because that person's pretty busy. Copy editor, hotel night auditor.
Mm-hmm.
Are all the rooms booked?
Yeah.
No.
Check.
Okay.
Check.
Done. Legal assistant, art teacher, social media manager.
Oh yeah.
That's on the job list. Also, digital content creator. So influencers, right?
Yeah.
This is probably a bad thing. To have a lazy girl job trend.
Look, here is the job you should have. A job that pays your bills. How about that? Hey, Casey, when we come back.
Something I think we all want.
We've had a lot of requests for this. Our old buddy, we played it yesterday, Trucker John.
Mm-hmm.
He is a truck driver / rapper. Did that fabulous rap that we played about how awful Indiana government and the Indiana Republican Party is, where he got somehow in one little rap got all the nicknames and little show bits that we do. And a lot of people, I mean, he got hundreds and hundreds of hits on his YouTube page yesterday. Obviously, thousands of people heard it here. A lot of people were requesting it again. Would it be all right if we bust that out?
Absolutely.
We've
got
those
our
listening
own
at home?
Oliver Anthony, Trucker John. It's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop.
Sarah, you don't look so good. Are you okay?
To be honest, I did it again last night. I promised myself it would be just one glass of wine, and I drank the whole bottle.
You need to get the drinking under control, Sarah. Trust me, I know. Wine o'clock used to be my favorite time of day, but I found that one glass always turned into more and realized I needed help. I did some research and found naltrexone.
Naltrexone?
It's an FDA-approved medication that reduces cravings and pleasure from drinking, making it easier to drink less or quit alcohol altogether. I started seeing results almost immediately.
How'd you get started with naltrexone?
It's easy with Or Health. Just send them a text and get a secure link to their private online assessment. One of their licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment and, if medication is right for you, prescribe it directly online. They even deliver your prescription right to your front door. No doctor's office visits required.
Thanks, Anne. I'm texting now.
You really can stop drinking or just drink less. Text PROMISE to 323232 to get started today. Text the word PROMISE to 323232. Text PROMISE to 323232.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
How hot and how long? I'm Kurt Darling for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 11:30. If you can stay inside today no matter where you are in Indiana, that's not a bad idea.
We'll see high temperatures in the lower 90s today, and that's going to result in some heat index values in the low 100s to maybe right around 105 through the course of the day.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service says you can expect those same heat index values all the way through Thursday across the state. Former President Donald Trump will travel to Atlanta on Thursday. He'll be turning himself in after being indicted in a case against him accusing him of allegedly election interference in Georgia. The Fulton County DA, who investigated Trump and his allies, has given the defendants until noon Friday to turn themselves in. Trump is not planning to attend a GOP primary debate in Milwaukee on Wednesday. I'm Kurt Darling, on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-0696.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-0696. That's 800-583-0696.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Have you ever dropped off your documents for shredding and wondered what happened to them? At Quick Shred, documents are shred right in front of you at their retail location on East 62nd Street. No appointment needed and convenient curbside assistance is provided. No matter how big or how small, they shred it all. You leave knowing your confidential information has been completely destroyed. Quick Shred is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. Quick Shred at 62nd and Binford Boulevard. Quick Shred.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Indiana Digital Learning School is the perfect choice for students who desire an academic challenge with an education plan tailored to their individual needs and interests. Do you have an advanced teen that would benefit from dual enrollment opportunities that allow them to earn high school and college credits? Indiana Digital Learning School is a tuition-free online public school now enrolling for the 2023-24 school year. Learn more at k12.com/INDLS. Indiana Digital Learning School, committed to the success of every student.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
11:34, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Did you know that we're hit makers?
We are the straw that stirs the drink, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
We make stars overnight.
And we've done that with
Yes.
Trucker John.
Yes.
He was already on his way.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who may have no idea what we're talking about, we have a very fabulous longtime listener of the show. His name is Trucker John. That's what he does, obviously, name in the title, drives a truck for a living. And my mind has escaped my mind how we got on the topic of this.
Well, we were talking about Eminem's lyrics, and we had that debate. Right. And then I think you were talking about how people called in about Eminem, and you were asking why they don't care about property taxes.
Yeah. And then we had said if you put something in a song, I think that people were more apt to care about it.
Yeah.
Or in a rap. And Trucker John called and said, I am not only a truck driver, I am also a rapper.
Yep.
And we said, well, sure you are, Skippy. And he said, I will.
Doubted him.
I will do you a rap on taxes and Indiana government and the Indiana Republican Party. And we said, there, child. That's funny. Yes, you get right back to us. And over the weekend, he did. He sent it to me. Here's the thing. I got to be totally honest about this.
I love it when people call your bluff.
He sent it on Friday, and I was busy, had a lot of things going on, and I thought, oh my gosh, this lunatic actually did this. And I thought, okay, yeah, I sent him a reply and said, okay, man, I'll listen to it over the weekend. Thanks, right, arm's distance. And
you didn't listen to it on the weekend, did you? You waited till Monday.
I got in Monday and pulled it up, and I was like,
wait a minute.
I got to do this. This guy's a big fan of our show. Let me just humor him and say, nice job, child. We're all very impressed. And it was really good.
Yes. See what happens when you doubt people.
Oh, well,
they show up sometimes.
I mean, I played it the same as I would have played it anyway. But yes, it was so good. What's the name of the company that he has on YouTube?
Nebula Entertainment.
Nebula Entertainment.
He goes by Heavyweight.
Yeah, Heavyweight is his rap name, but Nebula Entertainment, if you want to find this for yourself on YouTube.
Yeah.
The cover of the single alone is great. It's him. And then there's all this money burning in the background. And then in between the money burning, there's all our favorite characters.
Yeah.
So Silent Suzanne and Cowardly Lion, Diego Morales, and Duke of Spendingburg, and High Tax Holcomb, and Dr. Bach's gynecologist. I mean, he put some serious effort into this whole thing.
He did. Well, he knows what we expect. We have high standards.
Well, and I noticed he got hundreds of hits on this thing in addition to the tens of thousands of listens he obviously got via our podcast here and the radio station that played. And so a lot of people said, hey, I missed it, or I'd love to hear that again, or that was really great.
So the song is called Serving Hoosiers Well.
First and foremost, shout out to Kendall Casey on WIBC out of Indianapolis. Hey, Rob, I think we're about to go off the rails a little bit. Hey, Casey, I think it's time for me to blow. This is what it means to serve Hoosiers well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. This is what it means to serve Hoosiers well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. High tax, Holcomb, lockdown McGee. I got a couple questions, could you answer for me? Oh, wouldn't serve Hoosiers well, I see. But you had plenty of time for your boy Malik. On West Washington, I'm thinking that they hate us. All through inflation, they raised taxation. Over a year ago, they were warned on these airwaves. Property taxes skyrocket, constituents can't pay. Everybody's hurting, they don't care about the damage. They under more important biz like naming states safe. Don't get me wrong, I love a good tenderloin, but something's gotta be done about these good old boys. This is what it means to serve Hoosiers well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. This is what it means to serve Hoosiers well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. Everybody's money's tight. Don't we have a surplus? They should give our money back, but it wasn't meant for us. They gave it to the teachers so angry in their red shirts. So many millions spent, but our education's worse. Reaching out for help, I called our next senator, but what did I expect from Todd Young, the Duke of Spendingburg? Who never saw a dollar that he didn't want to spend? He said it himself, the spending's never gonna end. Spend the gas tax for bridges and roads. I've yet to see a dollar spent on all these potholes. I tried Jim Lucas, see if he would take a look. He was way too busy, hey, posting on Facebook. Really, dude? It's what it means to serve Hoosiers well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. This is what it means to serve Hoosiers well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. Yeah, hello, operator? Yeah, I need a doctor. There's a sickness in Indiana government, and this is the person to fix it. She was put in charge by Governor Holcomb. Yeah, can you put me in with Dr. Vox? Wait, she's not that kind of doctor? What kind of doctor is she?
What kind of doctor is she?
He's got bars.
I wonder how long that took him to make.
He did some sort of video I saw. We got tagged in where he was like thanking all the people who downloaded the video on YouTube and listened on the radio station. And he's playing at some sort of event in Orleans, Indiana.
Yeah.
which, Kev, you said your family is from there.
Yeah, my mom's side of the family's from there. So, yeah, I've got my roots in Orleans, and I was proud to see that he was repping that small town.
Yeah, you need to hook up with your cousins or whoever and go check them out.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can crash on someone's couch.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I might go down and see Trucker John and
Maybe
see a show.
Maybe get up there, do a little riff on guitar with him, or
Yeah.
drums, or something. You know,
Yeah, bang on the bongos.
You know,
if you're anything.
if you're an outsider, like let's say you're Curtis Hill or even Micah, wouldn't you get this guy to play it? You know, they have these fundraiser events or whatever. Wouldn't you get this guy as part of the, warm-up act? They've always got some sort of featured speaker or whatever.
Get the crowd excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't you have Trucker John as your warm-up act doing this rap?
Well, he'll have to be completely vetted, let's be honest, because Micah cannot attach his name to somebody who hasn't been through the, due diligence.
Yeah, let's... But Curtis will be just fine.
Yeah. The others, Mike Braun, whatever, you can have. Okay, so let's talk about Vivek Ramaswamy really quick.
No, of course.
He was he was criticized for mansplaining to Caitlin Collins. You remember her? She's on CNN. She's the woman that Donald Trump called nasty.
Yeah, that's right.
Nasty.
She hosted that town hall.
Right.
Yeah.
And Vivek was talking with her, and at one point he said, Caitlin, and he just kept repeating her name, and some people are saying that was mansplaining. But here he is. Let's talk extortion. He is completely attacking Hunter Biden.
Remembering, this guy is not just some fringe corrupt son of a U.S. president. He has been a geopolitical disaster. Remember that an investigation into Hunter Biden, potentially in Ukraine, that was already the basis for the second impeachment of the 45th president of the United States. But now the very country whose state-affiliated company was making a bribe to Hunter Biden, putting him on the board of a company where Hunter Biden had no business being on that board, that is the very country now receiving $200 billion in U.S. military and financial aid in the middle of a war, marching us closer, I worry, to nuclear war with Russia. This has real geopolitical implications. That is currently beyond the pale of any Republicans, even many Republicans, to ask out loud. But I think it is the heart of the question when the U.S. president is sending aid to a foreign country where his own family was part of a bribe from that same foreign country. If the same shoe fit the other foot and this had been Republicans or anybody else in charge, we'd be asking the questions. We should be here, too.
Okay, so we've been told over and over again that Joe Biden and Hunter were not in business together. They didn't talk about it. But how come Hunter Biden, it's now being revealed, was catching flights on Air Force Two, which you, American taxpayer, pay for?
Isn't it amazing the overwhelming evidence about what has transpired? And yet, and we are to blame for this, our government, the people in it, the people who run it, think so little of us that they're just calculated choices. We'll just look right at you and lie, and we think you're too scared and cowardly and apathetic to do anything about it.
A lot of people don't like that. Well, a lot of people in the Republican Party don't like the fact that Vivek is saying these things that he shouldn't be saying, things of this nature. And he's like, hey, listen, I'm going to do it anyway. He appeared on MSNBC. I don't know if you've ever seen her show. Simone is her name.
Does it look like I would have seen the Simone show,
it doesn't look like
Casey?
it. But she was asking him questions, and he said, hey, a lot of people don't think that I should appear on NBC because you're mean to Republicans. But if I can't even come on to this television network that has an opposing view, how in the world am I going to sit across from Xi Jinping?
All right, let's take a break. More on the way when we come back. I've got a question for you, Casey, when we come back about something that goes on in this building and the other buildings that we're a part of every single day. I've got inter-office etiquette questions.
Okay, it's coming up with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the latest Iowa polling doesn't mean what it means. It's kind of weird. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation. Feeling the heat? High temps aren't the only thing getting you hot under the collar. Wait till you see your energy bills. The solution? I recommend my friends at Window Nation for new energy-efficient windows. Your home stays comfortable and cool, and you will save on those high energy bills. Not to mention the incredible savings Window Nation is offering right now.
Get 50% off any style window. Bows, bays, double hang, sliders, 50% off. Plus, put zero down and make zero payments with 0% interest for 24 months. And this week only, receive an additional 10% off. So, maintain your chill, lower your bill, and fill your home with new Window Nation windows. Get 50% off all style windows and pay nothing for 2 years. 866-90-NATION. Call this week, get an additional 10% off. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Stop right now and ask yourself, what is most important to you? Hey, this is Casey Weed at Howard Bailey Financial, the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. We believe in developing retirement plans driven by what is most important to you, your purpose. Then we can build what we call your financial life plan, made up of 4 main pillars: liquidity for emergencies, income to last a lifetime, flexibility to adapt, estate planning to maximize your legacy, and finally, tax planning to maximize what you can spend and pass on. To learn more about saving on your taxes, get your free digital tax guide. Just call or text TAX42 to 866-482-9559. That's TAX42 to 866-482-9559.
Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Michaelis presents Password. The word is basement.
Okay. Wet.
Rain.
Leaky.
Faucet.
Stinky.
Socks.
Moldy.
Underwear.
It's basement.
Oh.
Really? Moldy underwear?
Well, sometimes.
Ew. I did not need to know that.
Basement waterproofing and French drains. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Make it Michaelis.
Come on, take your basement back. 844-FIX-INDY.
500 Guns is just east of the Speedway and the Viaduct on 16th Street. Joe and Guy Montgomery are the experts to trust when you want to buy or sell guns. They buy single guns or entire collections. If you've decided this is the year to become a gun owner or to add to your collection, don't buy until you visit 500 Guns. Contrary to what many think, you actually can get better pricing at 500 Guns than at the big box stores, and a lot better service. See them today. 500 Guns, West 16th Street, Indianapolis.
There goes the last DJ who plays what he wants to play and says what he wants
93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey show. Rob Casey's here. Casey, we have to discuss something.
What?
And I know we've brought this up before on this show, but I feel like it is a topic that will appeal to every single person hearing our voice who goes to an office environment, certainly one of any size. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And it is the people who keep sending us the I will be out of the office company-wide emails.
We got like 3 of those today. Lots of people are out today.
Look, we get these all the time, and they are from people that I have never met nor ever interacted with.
Well, I think some of them are from management type people, so they have to let their subordinates know that they won't be in. But for example, our boss, Matt Hiblin, fabulous executive producer of this very program, he's out today.
Yeah, but Matt, when he sent the email, it was to us, like the people who would be impacted by Matt Hiblin not being here.
Yeah.
It was not an email to
the entire building?
Well, buildings, plural. The people who own us are in multiple buildings in this city.
Would it make you feel better if when they sent out this company-wide email, they told you what they were doing?
No,
like
Matt, I don't care.
Like
what
Matt's
doing.
Like, hey, I'm going to Kings Island. I'm going to go have fun.
I do not care, Casey. I do not care. It is your time to take off. If the company provides it to you, you take it and do it. The problem is, I don't interact with you. I don't know who you are. I've never had a conversation with you. I will never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, ever need to have an interaction with you. It appears. Why would I care if you're gone?
Well, do you think that that's on you to go meet these people?
No! We are owned by a very large company, and God bless the people who own us. They've been very successful in the radio business, in other ventures. I think that's wonderful. I think that's phenomenal. And look, I'm going to come to work every day, and I'm going to bust my ass every day. And there's like 7 people that I need to know if you're not going to be here tomorrow. One of them being you.
Yeah.
Who
Who are the other 6? I'm confused because when I'm out, there's normally only 2 or 3 people that need to know. You, Matt, and my replacement.
Well, I was being somewhat generous, but okay, let's think off the top of my head who I would need to know if they are not here. All right, you would be 1.
Yeah.
Matt would be 1.
Kevin,
that's 3.
Yeah.
Hammer, because we do a segment with Hammer.
Sure. Okay. That's it.
That's it. There's like 4 people. And I'm sure the people who are emailing us, there's probably 4 people or maybe more who need to know that they're not there. I'm not one of them. And so now, you know what I've begun doing?
What?
I have begun...
What are you doing? Are you replying all?
Well, no.
That's great. Have a fantastic day off. We wish you well.
When Fred or Tony or Susie or whoever sends me the email, Hammer, Nigel, and I have started a group text where we just screenshot the email in question and we inform each other that Fred, Tony, or Susie is not going to be here because I mean, am I just being a terrible coworker?
No comment. No, you're fine. You're good. Just put me on that group text.
Because
let me in on the fun.
I mean, we get so many emails that it's like, if it's something from Urban One or whatever, okay, I probably need to open this and find out. Sally says she is going to Tampa, Florida for the week and will not be back. And I don't care. I've never worked with Sally.
Jealous.
Sally and I are not in the same departments. We're barely in the same company.
Well, I'm sorry that this has you so worked up.
Anyway, I just figured that I needed to air my frustration on this. It is totally a first world problem.
I'm really surprised, though, that you have a group text with Hammer and Nigel responds?
Usually, so here's what Nigel does in the group text. Nigel's a lazy group texter. He just puts capital LOLs, like the repeateds, over and over and over again. LOL, 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 LOL. So I feel like that's Nigel's way of participating, but not putting any effort into our group text.
Well, I'm sorry this is bothering you so much.
I would also like to wish a very happy 9th birthday to my English Bulldog, Bruce.
Oh, that's right. I saw you put the cutest picture of him on Instagram this morning. Yes. 9 years old,
He's 9, which for a Bulldog is getting up there.
Yeah.
But knock on wood, Bruce has been very, for the most part, very healthy.
How are you going to celebrate? Does he get a special treat? You're going to get like a little doggy ice cream or yogurt, or what do? You put a hat on him? Or is it just like every other day?
Okay, so here is what I did, Casey, for Bruce's first birthday, is I actually rented a shelter at the local park, and we had a public birthday party for Bruce, and no joke, hundreds of people in Brownsburg showed up for Bruce's birthday party.
Really?
And the premise was, I said, look, don't bring a dog, don't bring presents, whatever. He's a dog. Just it's an opportunity for everybody to be here and visit. I think we had provided food of some sort for people. I said, hey, if you want to bring your own food, whatever. There were some local charities that we accepted donations for in lieu of gifts for Bruce.
That's nice.
And it was a zoo at the local park. And so after the first birthday, that was 2015, I said, buddy, you used all your birthday parties in one birthday party. You know how weird it is and how special you are that a dog had hundreds of people show up to their birthday. But Bruce, look, Bruce is a magnanimous character. You've met Bruce. I mean, he is something else. And so, no, we no longer do any sort of... My dad did get him some sort of treats yesterday, but other than that, it was just a hearty, happy birthday, buddy. I love you. Here's one of the treats that...
How is he doing with the baby? Is he jealous?
No, Bruce is... Here is Bruce's world, Casey. And it is... it's interesting how they say owners take on, or dogs take on kind of the persona of their owners.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's totally true, because Bruce is totally in it for Bruce.
Yeah, that tracks, doesn't it?
Bruce's whole orbit is, what can you do for me?
Yeah.
And so as long as Bruce's life is not interrupted, which it has not been, he still gets the same amount of treats. He gets the same amount of food. He has his own room in my house that he is allowed to basically do with as he pleases. And so he's fine. We will take Olivia and we will put her in our arms in the room with Bruce. Sometimes he will come up and smell her. That lasts for about 30 seconds, and then he says...
And then he's off to his own business.
This is not an edible chew toy. whatever, great.
So he's not overly curious about the bassinet or, diaper packages around the house or anything like that.
Let me repeat myself. Bruce is 100% in it for Bruce. And as long as you're still providing the same amount of meals and treats and letting him out and giving him the same amount of attention, you do you, pal.
Yeah.
Bruce is the perfect libertarian. Because Bruce don't care.
He was limited oversight, doesn't he?
As long as you leave Bruce alone and let Bruce live his life to the best of his ability, you people have as many kids as you want. You do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Take up whatever parts of the house. Just leave me alone.
Well, happy birthday to your pup. That's awesome.
Great. All right, take us home.
All right. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. And we're going to count on you to be back here tomorrow. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's